courage, and grace under pressure. They left West Point and became the iconic military heroes of the 20th century. These are the faces of our nation's future military leaders. Today, they will take the field on a very special football Saturday here at West Point. The Army duel comes to life. Doug Blackard marks up the level for big guns. Sweeps to the outside. As Red White leads the cadets to their third straight national championship. Touchdown Army. Welcome to the start of a very special day of college football here on the CBS College Sports Network. It's Armed Forces Appreciation Day. We start a triple header involving all three service academies here at West Point. Here comes Army. As part of the unique pregame ceremony today, that's number 85, Mark Allen from Army, running an American flag that was flown over the multinational Corps Iraq headquarters at the Al-Fa Palace in Baghdad, giving the flag to Army's last Heisman Trophy winner, Pete Dawkins. Today, Pete's alma mater will host Vanderbilt to the Southeastern Conference. The Commodores and Army, each 2-3 on the season. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to West Point. It's great to have you with us. We are moments away from kickoff. This is Dave Ryan, and we welcome you to the first ever Armed Forces Appreciation Day here on the CBS College Sports Network. A chance to see all three service academies in action. And throughout our broadcast today and tonight, we'll have special guests in the booth with us. Throughout the second quarter, we'll be joined by 1958 Heisman Trophy winner Pete Dawkins, was part of the last unbeaten team here at West Point. The 58 squad went 8-0-1. I'll be joined throughout the entire ball game today by Jason Sehorn here in the booth, former New York Giants star defensive back. We talk about Vandy now. Really good team last year. One of the darlings of college football in 2008. Made a bowl game. Beat BC, Music City Bowl. But this year, 0-3 in the SEC. Defense has got to bring them back, right?
If they're going to get back to a bowl game, it's going to be because of that 25th ranked defense and how well they adjust to the game speed of Army's triple option. On the other side, Army, they're led by their defense as well. The offense gets a lot of attention, but it's the defense that's been consistent. I think it's the offensive coordinator with the sharpest pencil and the defense that blinks first.
We're pleased to be joined again by our cadet sideline reporter. In front of the Corps of Cadets, it's Devin Adams from Birmingham, Alabama. A junior or a cow, as it's known here on Post. What's the mood like right now in the Corps, Devin?
Sir, after this past heartbreaking loss to Tulane, the Corps is really bummed, but I'd be violating the honor code if I didn't say there were some serious concerns about the difficulty of our opponent this week. But I can tell you one thing, we'll never quit, we'll never surrender, we'll never leave a fallen comrade. So I can guarantee you, I've talked to a lot of the football players this week, and they're really pumped up for the game, and they'll keep on going until the last whistle blows.
All right, Devin, thank you. Look forward to reports all day long. Great day for college football here at West Point, 61 degrees. Kind of humid. Vanderbilt wins a toss, defers. Army will receive. Ryan Fowler will kick off. Damian Hunter and Mealy, the deep man, to receive. And here is Hunter at his one to start the game today. Cut down outside the 20. 21-yard line. Let's take a look at the quarterback profile brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. It's the freshman from Bowling Green, Kentucky. We found out today that his hometown, Jason, only about 45 minutes from Nashville where Vanderbilt is, so he must have known a lot about the Commodores growing up.
And he better continue his learning curve today because they say with each game he's gotten a little bit better, had his best game last week. Also, when they do pass, accuracy in the passing game, they've got to take advantage of it and make the proper reads in the triple option. They said last week was his best game as a quarterback in making the reads.
First play from scrimmage, and he's thrown right away. Here's Hunter on the reception. Outside the 20, he's dragged down by Brett Trice at the 28-yard line. Difference makers.
You know, for the Army offense, it starts and ends with Trent Steelman. He's going to hold and handle the ball on every single snap. He has to execute this offense. He's got to, as we mentioned, make plays in the passing game when they allow him to throw. Malcolm Brown, his first game action will be today. He will see the ball quite a bit. And Damian Hunter, their all-purpose guy. Catching, return game, he's got to make some big plays for them as well.
Nice pickup of 7. Steelman keeps, has a first down and more. Good run. Trent Steelman outside the 40-yard line. Chains will move for the Cadets. Tackle made by Patrick Benoit, all SEC performer for Vanderbilt. Let's check in with the Commodores' defensive difference makers.
You know what, we always talk about Alejandro Villanueva in the big 6'8 corner. Well, guess what? Vandy has a lockdown corner, Myron Lewis, who's their best bet to be a first-day selection in the NFL draft. After that, it comes to Chris Mark. He's got to be able to play sideline to sideline this offense because the triple option will spread you. Broderick Stewart, the defensive end, has got to make sure the ball stays inside of him or takes a long time getting to the pitch.
Play goes right up the middle. On the midline option run, Kingsley Ahee, short gain. Now it's time toward the keys to the game, brought to you by Energizer. Jason, let's break it down.
Well, you know, when you look at this Army offense, they've got to create big plays. They have to have huge shifts in momentum. They cannot consistently just line up and go 5 yards at a time. Eventually, the defense will figure out what they're trying to accomplish. Vanderbilt defense, on the flip side, has to understand the game speed of the triple option. You've seen a lot of teams play them, and at first they seem a little off-kilter. If they can get the game speed of this and figure it out, they'll have much more success.
Ball on the ground, and Steelman alertly hops on it. Been a big issue with the triple option, the midline option, where the run goes to the fullback. Quite often they've had trouble handling the ball. Chris Marv made the stop defensively. Now, touchdown last week on a short field, Jason, against Tulane. Early block punt led to 6 points for the Cadets.
This has not been the problem for them. Starting fast has not been an issue for Army. Holding onto the ball has been an issue, and we'll talk about a little bit later in the game, the second half. But starting it, they've got it figured out in the beginning.
Army offense, starters, top of your screen. Play fake, throw. Hunter has it on 3rd down, looks for some room through traffic. I don't think he got to the marker. Needed the 49 of Vandy, and he's shy by about half a yard. It will be 4th down coming up. Now it's time for the icy hot injury report.
When you look at this for Vanderbilt, a lot of guys that they really were expecting and counting on are not here. 4th down.
Army hopes Darius Williams will return later in the season. Key player, B-back, the fullback in this offense. Cadets set up to go for it here. We'll see if they try to draw Vandy offside or, with a sneak, get the 1st down, which it looks like Steelman has, but there is a flag down in front of the Vanderbilt bench.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 82, offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
That's the captain and senior wide receiver Alejandro Villanueva at 6'10", the nation's largest wide receiver, tallest, and it's tough to hide that if you're the official with Alejandro so tall.
2 things, you're 6'8", and you're 5 feet from the official.
6'10"?
I guess the third thing about that is you're a wide receiver on a quarterback sneak. Where's the movement? Where's the get off? Just stand there and watch the play.
Alex Washington deep to receive the Jonathan Bowles punt here. Lets it bounce. Touches it at the 15. He's got to grab that ball, and he's put down right away. Good play on special teams for Army. Brian Cobb's got there. Let's take a look at the quarterback profile brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Vanderbilt takes the field for the first time. Larry Smith, sophomore from Prattville, Alabama, near Montgomery, is the quarterback.
The coach will tell us you just need a little bit more consistency in the passing game. He's a great athlete. We know he can run. He's a threat to run on every play. But what they want to see is a little bit more patience in the pocket, throwing the football downfield. A big kid at 6'2", 220. So sometimes I think he feels like he can take on the linebackers and the DBs in the secondary.
On 1st down, Warren Norman, a true freshman. He's been an outstanding player for Vandy in the early going through their first 5 games.
The one thing Army likes to do is create pressure on the quarterback. Thomas Welch, the left tackle, the senior, has to be the leader in that offensive line. Larry Smith has to play with composure in the passing game, and Udom Oma has to make the catch. He's their deep threat. He's their big play potential. They said he has some concentration lapses at times, but he's the guy they want to take advantage downfield.
Vandy's only thrown 2 TD passes all year with Larry Smith so far. Here's a pass brought in by John Cole. Makes a good move, gets by 1 tackler. Travis working hard to track him down, finally makes the play. As we check in with defensive difference makers here for Army.
You know, we talk about the pressure that Army likes to create on the quarterback. It starts with Josh McNary. They've got to continue to do that. In the middle, we know that Vanderbilt likes to run the ball. Victor Ugeni, he has to be the guy that creates pressure on the other side of the football field. And Donovan Travis, they like to throw the ball a little bit deep. Last week he had a couple issues with the deep ball. Play the deep ball.
Hand off Norman on the quick jet sweep, and he has got some serious wheels. A true freshman gets himself out to about the 34 after that 11-yard pickup on the Smith to Cole pass play. Donovan Travis has his second tackle on this drive. Norman will be all over the field today, a little bit like Jeremy Williams was for Tulane last week. Pickup of 8 there. Jason, versatile player.
And Ted Kane, the offensive coordinator, was telling us they're trying to find new ways to get him involved in the offense.
On second down, pass to Cole. Juggle, it'll be ruled incomplete. Antoine Aaron on coverage. Time now for the keys of the game, brought to you by Energizer.
You know, for Vanderbilt offense, manages pass rush. The one thing the defense coordinators for Army will tell us is if they're going to make a mistake, make it on the other side of the line of scrimmage. For the Army defense, they've got to contain Warren Norman. He is their do-it-all tailback, and we know that Vanderbilt, they don't want to throw the ball a bunch. They want to establish this run and allow Larry Smith to make easy throws once they've got the defense off kilter.
On third down, nothing doing. Mike Gann trips up Warren Norman in the backfield. And that will be a loss in a punting situation here for Vanderbilt. We spoke with Mike Gann yesterday from the Atlanta area. His dad played in the NFL for 9 years with the Falcons. Said he learned a lot about the game growing up in the Falcons locker room.
And when you watch him out there, the one thing I think he picked up the most on was his high energy. He realized for him to be successful, he was going to have to play at a higher level energy-wise than everybody else, and he does that with passion the entire game. Now he said the key is to get everybody else to follow suit.
Brett Upson, senior from Griffin, Georgia, punting. Josh Jones on the return for Army. Spun down across the 25-yard line. And the Cadets will have their second possession of the early going here. It's Armed Forces Appreciation Day. Special day of college football underway from West Point. The longest continually occupied post in the United States. Rich Ellerson, whose father and brother attended the USMA here in West Point. A lot of connections with Army. A great reason he was the choice for the 36th head coach in Army history. Steelman across the 30-yard line. Benoit again in on the stop. Time for the icy hot injury report again here as we kind of went over it pretty quickly, Jason, earlier. A lot of key players are out. Hamilton, a player they really will miss. Vanderbilt's safety, a pectoral muscle tear.
And, you know, we were talking about some of their guys on offense and defense. They said we weren't really a deep team, and we couldn't really afford to lose a lot of these players. And so we've had a few learning curves to overcome over the last couple of weeks and getting new people in new positions and getting them some game action. 2nd
and 4 here, little play action. Steelman throwing, post route. Looks for Hunter, overthrow him. And incomplete. Casey Hayward on coverage. You know, we spoke on the field this morning, Jason, with Trent Steelman, who promised us, I'm going to throw more today. He wasn't kidding around.
I love seeing the forward pass with Army. You know, we've talked to Rich Ellison, head coach for Army, for the last couple games, and he said this offense would like to ultimately throw it 20 times a game. Obviously, we haven't seen that, but he says it's in there. We just have to be more successful doing it in practice before we start throwing it out there in the football game. So it's nice to see they must have had some success this week.
At the FCS level at Cal Poly, a lot of throwing and success there. 3rd down, pitch goes right. 1st down. Patrick Mealy weaving his way through traffic, pushed out of bounds by Stewart. And a start offensive end for Vanderbilt.
You know, this triple option, the one thing it relies on is obviously execution. You see here, the defensive end, he comes in, he closes down. The linebacker snaps up, nobody's out there on the pitch. The slot backs and the wide receivers do a fantastic job of getting downfield and getting people on the ground, whether it be corners, safeties, or linebackers, and that's what creates the opening for the running back to gain extra yards.
Very early. This is a different looking Army offense, and a rollout, sprint left. Steelman thinking about throwing now, will run with it, and he's put down after a very short game, about a yard at the 40. Armed Forces Appreciation Day continuing on the CBS College Sports Network. 3:30 Eastern, Navy against Rice. The Mids coming off that exciting win in overtime last week in Annapolis over Air Force. Speaking of the Falcons, they take on TCU. They're thinking BCS Buster, Jason, this year. Horned Frogs, a good team out of the Mountain West. CBS College Sports Network, the pulse of college sports. Football first.
What I like what I see so far about this with this offense is they're really loosening up the Vanderbilt defense. They're not allowing them to get a feel for this triple option with all the throws.
Here is the pitch, comes to the near side. It's Brown, who's rung up outside the 45-yard line to the 47. We talked about Malcolm earlier in our difference makers as being a guy who's going to have to get a lot of touches today. He's got some good speed. Saw his first significant action last week in that loss to Tulane after being hurt early season.
And so they really want to get him involved quickly so that he adjusts faster. They don't want to take all day long trying to get him back acclimated to the offense. They want him to feel like he's been here for a while. Obviously, that's going to take a little time, but they want him to get game action early on.
Top of your screen, Vanderbilt starting defense. 3rd and short. Triple option. Up the middle. Goes Steelman. First down and much more to the 41-yard line of Vanderbilt. Chains move for the Cadets. Got to make the core happy.
You know, the one thing that they're doing a great job of right now is keeping the Vanderbilt defense off kilter. They have no idea what's coming at them, whether it be the midline option, the triple option, up the middle, throwing the football. Right, they see Trent Steelman just to make a great decision, turning it upfield. What they're relying on is the 3 technique, the defensive tackle, to make the wrong decision, basically. They leave him unprotected, unblocked, allow him to just run where his eyes go, and they go the opposite way.
Brown in motion. Play goes up the middle again.
And this is what they had a lot of success with last weekend. You saw Trent Steelman had his biggest rushing day of the year last week on the midline option, and clearly they like what they saw. They're coming right back to it this week.
First winning season since '82 for Bobby Johnson. We spoke with a coach from Vandy this week. Not easy at that academically oriented school in the SEC, where 3 teams rest in the top 10 this week, Jason, to keep winning going.
When you've got engineer majors in your defensive line, it's pretty difficult to take their time and look at football sometimes.
Check out the drive, top of your screen. 2nd down coming up. Army the midline or the triple option. They start this way. The midline plays with a quarterback keep, but not this. Here's a pass. David Brooks, first catch of his career. Running loose, far side. Tripped up outside the 10. How about this play for Army? From Newburgh, New York. About 15 minutes from here. Finally tracked down by defensive end Broderick Stewart.
First of all, it starts with a missed tackle. The one thing you cannot do as a quarterback on the outside when there's nobody outside of you is miss a tackle. You have to force him back inside. Fantastic hustle there to get him down at the 10-yard line. Otherwise, that's a touchdown.
Coaches told us yesterday Brooks needs to be much more consistent. I think he earned some stripes there with a big play. And it's 1st and goal for Army here. Up the middle. Ball on the ground, and Vandy's got it.
This is the 3rd straight week they've had a turnover in the red zone.
Some trouble with the center quarterback exchange, and Brent Trice, the star-strong safety, also plays some linebacker for Vanderbilt. Hops on the loose change. Sudden change. That means Vandy has got it back. No score here at West Point. Trent Steelman, the Army offense, some trouble there with a fumble deep in Vandy territory. We're joined by USMA Superintendent Lieutenant General Buster Hagenbach. And how would you best describe, sir, the role that football players have here at West Point?
Well, they've got a big role here. Every cadet that we have is an athlete. And depending on the level of skill they've got, they're either playing intercollegiate like these football players, or they're playing club sports like rugby or intramurals as well. But much of the country sees our college, as all universities, through the lens of entertainment and sports, and football is the premier sport.
And we talk about athletic ability. How do you think that translates into everything else they do here at the academy?
Well, it's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it because we're talking about producing leaders here at West Point. It's not just about the classroom and academics. It's also about what the prowess on the athletic field, as well as military obligations that they've got.
Because we've heard so much about the cadets, and whether they play an organized sport or not, they're all playing some form of intramural. Like, everybody's playing some kind of athletic thing, and I just find it very unique that a university, or as West Point is, would try to get everybody involved in some athletic form, and it's unique.
Well, it is,
like West Point.
But I'm convinced that it is a great leadership experiment, if you will. That's where you can develop a lot of things out here that we expect them to do in the Army as leaders, and that's being disciplined, teamwork, giving it their all, perseverance, and never quitting.
Zach Stacy on the carry. We're being joined by Lieutenant General Buster Hagenbach, West Point Superintendent, in the booth here. First it was Bradley Vierling, the Vandy center, on the penalty before that play. Then it's Ryan Custer, left guard. The guilty party. It'll back up Vandy 10. So, sir, the football experience, how do you think that contributes to the cadets' military training?
Well, I was saying to Jason a little bit earlier, I think it very much parallels what they do and are expected to do in the Army, from teamwork, loyalty, and perseverance.
That teamwork key. You really learn to rely on other people.
You absolutely do. You're not in this business alone, not on the football field and not in the Army.
As the offense, you've seen the triple option now for about 5 games. Vastly different today?
Very much so. Getting the ball on the outside there a little bit and throwing it. I'm glad to see it.
What's it like for you to go through the games and watch? I know you have such an emotional connection and want them to win so badly.
Well, I do. I played ball here, and I coached a little bit in college at Florida State and here at Army, and so I live and die almost with every play. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
Zach Stacy carrying across the 10-yard line, hit by Andrew Rodriguez.
It is interesting you talk about living and dying with plays, and that's the true fan. The true fan lives and dies with the entire game, not just the outcome of the game, but there's angst and celebration and all the roller coaster emotions for the entire 60 minutes.
Absolutely. It's up and down. It's much like life. And you were here for last week's game and saw that. We're winning all the way till 2.5 minutes left and took a tailspin. So hopefully we'll get some.
This ball airborne. Donnie Dixon nearly the interception. Great pressure. Victor Eugeni, McNary, and Hilton on Larry Smith, the Vandy quarterback, hit as he throws. And it'll be a punt situation here for Vanderbilt. And this is good pressure there for the defense, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like I said, we could have used Jason there in the backfield on that.
This is one of the things, I mean, in talking to Chris Millen and Pine Sedat, the defensive coordinators for Army, they say they want their defensive line, the front four, to be on the other side of the ball. And if they're going to make a mistake, make it on the other side. And they think that more things are going to happen positively for them if they're on that side than their side.
Fred ups in a punt. Jones, the deep man to receive here for the Cadets. Takes a good bounce for Vanderbilt, and Jones can do nothing but let that one go. Buster, that's how you coach him, right? Stay away from that ball.
That's exactly right. Get away from that.
It is tempting.
It was great to see you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Dave, and thanks for what you're doing here.
Really pleasure having you, Jason. Nice to meet you.
Great to have Lieutenant General Buster Hagen with us on the Armed Forces Appreciation Day. Army General Omar Bradley, graduating in 1915. Bradley was part of a distinguished class, which military historians have called the class stars fell upon. 59 graduates. That 1915 class went on to earn the rank of general, including Bradley and Dwight Eisenhower, who played on the 1912 football team. Ike played linebacker, running back in the 1912 squad, suffered a career-ending knee injury during that season.
You really see how football plays a role in just about everything they do here.
Look at this. Pump fake. Steelman airs it out. Hunter incomplete. They are taking shots downfield. And speaking of shots, Steelman took one himself. Penalty coming on Vandy here. Personal foul,
Passer,
15 yards.
Number 88, defense, 15 yards, previous spot, automatic first down.
Oh, not even close. Composure. Those are one of the things that just drive coaches nuts. They do not mind aggressive penalties. If you're going to go after somebody, go after them aggressively, but just to kind of, throw an elbow or shoulder for nothing. You didn't even put a beating on him.
Rob Lohr, redshirt freshman from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Guilty party there on the excessive contact call, and Bobby Johnson hot under the collar about that one.
Well, I can always remember coaches saying, if you're going to get a personal foul, make it count.
That wasn't good enough, was it?
No.
How about Army? All of the pass attempts. This is a keep. Steelman buried at the 46-yard line. Let's take a look at today's real-time fan poll brought to you by Text Station. So here's what you do. You text it to 88222 and then vote C1, C2, or C3. Which service academy on Armed Forces Appreciation Day will score the most points? Army, Navy, or Air Force? I don't like Air Force's chances.
Against that defense?
Got great defense.
Yeah. When you look at what Army can do, Army can move the ball very well from the 20s. It's just a matter of not making the mistakes in the red zone.
Steelman passing. Hunter receiving. On a screen pass, Benoit read it, though, and put him down. Patrick Benoit, who comes from that great high school program near Dallas, South Lake Carroll, that produced Chase Daniel, the great Missouri quarterback. He played in high school.
At 6.
And Greg McElroy, the Alabama quarterback.
And great recognition when you've got an outside linebacker who can react that quickly. it really throws this quick screen off. When receiver and quarterback kind of, a lot of time they have an eye contact to get that ball out there quickly. If the linebacker can get there that quickly, it nullifies the play, because what they're relying on is the other receiver blocking the corner and having an open spot on the outside.
Benoit 4 tackles already for the co-captain. Steelman on the sprint left, throwing ball tip, airborne, anyone's ball. Steelman went up to try to grab it, and he got it. Oh, what a play by Trent Steelman, the quarterback for Army. On the airborne rock, able to bring it down. It is shy of a first down on a wild play.
But it's not a turnover. Great hustle by the quarterback. You know, they talk about basketball players following their shot. Same thing for a quarterback here. Ball's in the air, follow your shot, goes up and gets it, ensures that it's not a turnover, live to punt the football. I really like what I see from the Army offense, because what they're doing is they're really keeping this Vanderbilt defense off balance. They have no idea what to expect from play to play. They've been branded with this triple option for the entire week, I'm sure, and now they're seeing pass after pass. They don't really get much time to figure out the triple option.
Rugby style kick. Jamie Graham takes it. Reserve defensive back for Vandy. And he's at the 19-yard line. That's where the Commodores take over. Wild start here from West Point. No score. Afghanistan, who played football at West Point. He and Andrew talk a lot about football.
I can just talk about, like things I might be having trouble playing against, or, things that are new to me. And, he's got that experience that he can share with me, which is huge in my opinion, because, I know he's been there, and it's like having another coach.
David Rodriguez, alum from West Point, played football for the Black Knights. 1976 he graduated, also a defensive end type. Same sort of spot that Andrew plays. They talk a lot about the position. Here's a pitch. It's Norman. Avoids a hit. Streaking down the sideline, and here he goes. Warren Norman, there is a flag down. Will score here. The 5, the goal line, end zone touchdown. Vandy, there is a marker down at the 26-yard line.
Holding. 81 on the offense. 10 yards to the spot of the foul. Still first down.
Turner Wimberly, the guilty party, wipes 6 off the board for Bobby Johnson's team.
And coaches really try to do a good job with the receivers and getting them to block downfield, because they realize the big plays generally happen or occur when the receivers can get blocks on secondary people, whether it be safeties or corners. See that just on the outside, you got to let him go at that point. When the number 1 is on his shoulder, it's usually an issue. It's pretty easy for the official to see.
Warren Norman, electrifying player. Coach Johnson told us about this week. Second in the SEC, that's right. Southeastern Conference all-purpose yards coming in, 150.6 a game. But penalties, as you can see clearly, have really hurt Vandy. Stacy in traffic is hit and sent back. And Rodriguez makes the play. We just heard from Andrew a moment ago. Grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. Andrew told us last week when we spoke with him that he came up as a high school student. His sister also attended the USMA, Amy, class of 06. She is now a captain at Fort Bragg and has seen time in Iraq as well. Said, love the experience back then, really loves playing here. Final moments of the quarter. Direct snap. Comes to Stacy, and he's put down by Steven Anderson. And that is the end of the first quarter. The second quarter on Armed Forces Appreciation Day means we'll speak with Pete Dawkins, who'll join us in the booth throughout the entire quarter, and we'll get the great perspective of the former Heisman Trophy winner here at Army, class of 1959. Don't want to miss that. It's coming up next. 58 team, 8-0-1, last unbeaten squad in Army history. Pete went on to greatness in the military and the business world after his days at Army, also a co-captain on the ice hockey team.
Right.
And reached a very high rank amongst the Corps cadets. What didn't you do was the question when you were here at Army?
Well, we kept very busy, I'll say that. But the thrill that I look back now, 50 years later, is on this field with the Army team.
Yeah. Now, you were part of the pregame ceremony, the flag handed to you that had flown over a very significant military installation in Iraq. What was that like for you, Pete?
Well, I really do feel that that kind of ceremony means something. I can remember years ago in Vietnam, they sent the first NFL group over, and we had Johnny Unitas and Frank Gifford and all that gang there, and we're going to have a play here now.
Sure. Here's Larry Smith, sophomore quarterback. Quarter underway, running. Crosses the 25-yard line, does have the first down, got to the 32. Very versatile quarterback is Larry Smith. Got some serious wheels at 6'2", 220. Now, Pete, what do you think about the progression of the position of quarterback? How is it different from your day?
Well, it's very much a triple option. Obviously, puts a special kind of emphasis on the quarterback. I think that Steelman's really getting comfortable there. He really seems to be mastering the fundamentals of that, and it's exciting to see. Clearly a pivotal part of this offensive formation, and I like to see him out throwing the ball now.
It's a lot of fun. When you look at the game of football, okay, you see the evolution of it, and you watch it for 50 years now. Is it surprising to see how far it's come and what they do now with all these different formations and defenses and all this stuff? Or did you, as a player, think, oh, one day we're going to get to this?
Well, I don't know. I guess all of the above, but there's no question that it's got more complicated, more sophisticated, more demanding on the players' alertness and being able to understand all of that. We had a little glimpse of that because my final year was the lonesome end. And that was the first split receiver formation that now is commonplace.
How about that? He was called the lonesome man just because he was split out wide from the formation.
The lonesome end.
Not a lot of balls thrown his way,
Bill Sharper.
First charge.
And the irony is, because we have split formations all the time now, the reason that he stayed out and never came back in the huddle was because they thought he was going to get worn out.
All right, gentlemen, we'll take a commercial break. Rich Ellerson, the Army coach, has called timeout. Second quarter underway from West Point. Corps Cadets pumped up. No score, Vandy, Army. And there's Pete Dawkins. Life does seem good at West Point. Pete getting away with that ceremonial pregame flag. Cool moment certainly for everyone here watching and for Pete as well, as we heard. Well, gentlemen, let's take a look at the Bud Light Stat 6-pack. And we'll do that, break down the numbers after this Vandy play. Smith does take the snap this time. Flags fly everywhere. Ball intercepted by Antoine Aaron. He's sent down by Udom Uma, but there are at least two markers in the
holding
backfield.
60 on the offense. The penalty is declined. First down.
That means Army takes over. And a big interception there for Antoine Aaron, the sophomore from Dallas, and the clapping you heard was from Pete Dawkins. It's okay, Pete. You don't have to be neutral like us. You can move for your alma mater.
Yay.
Play by Aaron there. And when we come back, more from Pete. Army gets the ball back. Big moment, Antoine Aaron, the sophomore to Dallas, has his first career interception. Great pressure, Steven Anderson hitting Larry Smith, the Vandy quarterback. As promised, gentlemen, let's take a look now at the Bud Light Stat 6-pack. Mr. Dawkins, you get us started. What do you think about these stats here?
I'm just looking at it. I think the not 39 yards passing, but compared to the past, that's a plus. And I think they're trying to open the game up.
What I see here so far is clearly Rich Ellerson feels much more comfortable with how Trent Steelman's handling the triple option, so he's expanding the role in the offense, saying, listen, we think, they said last week he graded out perfectly in the triple option. He made perfect reads. So basically saying, listen, we think he's got that part. Let's open it up and allow him to throw the football a little bit more.
Lonnie Liggins, the ball carrier that time on the pitch right from Trent Steelman. Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Pete, how does the triple option or the midline option, the two that Trent Steelman has to look at, how does it compare to the offense you ran back in the day?
Well, we ran kind of a ride from the quarterback and the fullback, so it had some features of it, but this has got more alternatives. It's much tougher to defense against.
3-step drop, another throw, looking for Alejandro, going away, but 6'10", the tallest wide receiver in the nation. And Myron Lewis, who was an outstanding cornerback, all SEC defensive back. The coaches at Vandy tell us a sure thing NFL first-round pick, breaks it up.
You know, I know they like the matchup of Villanueva against a lot of corners. This corner might not be such a great matchup. Maybe they want to try the other side. There are certain corners that you're going to play that are considered what they call lockdown corners. Guys, that it doesn't matter if he's 6'10" or not. He's going to be all over him. The other thing he can do is he can jump high enough to get to that 7-point, height mark of his, his hands when he's going up for the ball.
Third down called 8. Long snap count, Steelman. Brad Golick is the B-back behind him here, getting his first collegiate action. Sprinting left. Steelman trouble. Hit as he throws and wisely throws it away. Then a flag comes in late, way behind the play. And we'll investigate that call.
Flag on the play.
That's big on third down.
There's no foul on the play for ineligible downfield. Fourth down.
Never mind. Joined in the booth by Pete Dawkins, 1958 Heisman Trophy winner, part of our Armed Forces Appreciation Day coverage. You told me earlier, Pete, when you first got here as a plebe, didn't play back then, freshman or plebe year, you watched your first game at Michie Stadium. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was pretty exciting. Well, we were anticipating having a happy experience, and it was. We won 83-0. And I thought this is going to be great, being a part of Army football when we can beat opponents by 83 points. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be that easy the rest of the time. A great beginning, though.
And you mentioned before that you had, was it Doc Blanchard who came back and coached you guys?
Yep, so he was my freshman coach, and what an inspiration he was. Just such a physical guy. He was so big and strong. I said his thighs were bigger than my waist, and it was intimidating, but a lovely man and a great coach. And he really got in there. He would take the lineman on in full equipment when he had a T-shirt on, and he would just forearm shiver him up. And I mean, you really felt like he was engaged. He was a really inspirational leader.
Larry Smith and the Vanderbilt offense back in the field. No score here. Each team has had some chances, but penalties and fumbles have hurt. Stacy carries, able to lose one tackler and get himself out to the 15. Let's go back down to Cadet Adams.
Yes, sir. I hear you're up there with Pete Dawkins, and it's funny because this is such a historic institution, and one of the things that's associated with the institution is the names. You think Douglas MacArthur, you think of Dwight Eisenhower, and one of those names you think of Army football has to be Pete Dawkins. One of those cadets that came here was literally the best at everything that he did. He's truly an inspiration for me. I know I had to catch up with him earlier and get an autograph like a cheesy cadet, but it was a great experience being able to meet Pete Dawkins.
Wow, pretty neat experience for him. Certainly, he said that to us down near our production trucks. He was just so excited to come early and meet you, Pete. When you walk around and you hear people say things like that about you, what's your reaction?
Well, it's humbling, obviously. But what it emphasizes is there is a glue, there is a cohesion that holds this Army team together of all eras. And it's wonderful to be a part of that.
Uma is gang tackled after the short completion from Larry Smith. Does not have enough for a first down. And Vanderbilt's troubles. And Pete, we spoke with Bobby Johnson, the head coach of Vanderbilt, this week on the phone. He said offensive inconsistency has really been a big problem. And we're kind of seeing that today, aren't we?
We are. They've got some really real potency in their offense, but it has been very inconsistent. And from my partisan point of view, I'm very thankful for that.
You're okay with that?
They're very tough on defense. We're seeing that as well.
Brett Upson to punt again for Vandy. He's been busy today. Jones hit as he grabs it at the 40-yard line of Army. And that is where the Cadets will take over. When we come back to West Point, continue our conversation with Army legend Pete Dawkins.
Hey, it's Jimmy Football. Hey!
44, 45, and 46. 3 straight national championships, dominating the gridiron, going 27-0-1. 18 All-Americans took the field for the Cadets, including 2 of the greatest ever to play the game. Felix Doc Blanchard, whose number will be retired today here at West Point at a halftime ceremony. And Mr. Outside himself, Glenn Davis, wore number 41, played both ways back then. And there's Pete's number 24. What was the experience like for you, Pete, to have your jersey put up here forever?
Well, it's hard to describe. Something I never anticipated, I must say. But just to be associated with Blanchard and Davis is a treat and an honor.
First down. Army takes over. Steelman hit. Short gain. Nailed there by Broderick Stewart, the senior from Noonan, Georgia. He was the sack leader for Vanderbilt. Got a couple. He's just 3 shy of the all-time Vandy record.
And you talk about associated. You were coached by one of them. I mean, not many people can say they were coached by a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, that's something special beyond.
Not exactly good field position in this game for Vanderbilt. One trouble and reason they have not scored yet. Steelman keeping, and Benoit puts him down after a short gain. Got to the 44-yard line. Let's take a look at today's Macy Bioblast. That's got to be Trent Steelman. What are your impressions, Pete, on this young man?
I'm really, really impressed by him. To master, but really come to take control of this offense as a freshman and to provide the kind of leadership he has is really encouraging.
Macy's Bioblast today from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Third down conversion try. The pitch goes left, and Brown did not get there. Malcolm had to get to the 49. He is shy. The Army first down.
And when you talk about that, I think one of the things that people at home don't realize why it's so impressive for a true freshman to be successful at the academy is because of his responsibilities outside of football. For him to be able to manage all of that and be a quarterback.
It's really remarkable.
Let's see what they do here, Pete and Jason. Fourth down. Let's try another one. There's Brown in motion. There's some movement on the Vandy front. Throw to Hunter, who brings it in. We'll see if it was, in fact, a free play for Army. He got to the 33. If that's a little to the left of Damian, he's still running for a cadet touchdown. Let's check out the call. Quarterback shows do that. Fall through on the play.
Prior to the snap, the defense made contact with the offense. The penalty would be 5 yards from the previous spot. Penalty results in a first down.
It is a dead ball foul, so they have to take the 5 yards. But it is a first down.
Smart play by them, though. Really, I mean, as the center, you realize if you see him jump across, do not allow him the time to get back. Snap the ball.
Yeah.
They're offsides.
Vandy coming off a 23-7 home loss to Ole Miss last weekend. Bobby Johnson said to us this week, one of the more disappointing games he's had in 8 years there. Offensively, no consistency. They did pick off Jevin Sneed, the star Ole Miss quarterback, 3 times, but he threw 3 TDs, and that did end the Commodores on their home field. They don't look sharp today at all. Play action. Steelman. Villanueva bumped. Incomplete. No flags. Thrown. Joel Caldwell, the senior from Hoover, Alabama, on coverage for Vandy.
And these are the opportunities. This is where you want to take advantage of that height. You want to get him going vertically down the middle of the football field, up against a safety. Throw the ball up in the air. Give him a chance to go up and get it. The one thing that I don't think they're doing as well sometimes is getting the ball vertically high. It's almost like you're trying to overthrow him. If you throw it in his chest, you're offsetting and eliminating the fact that he's 6'10", because then everybody else can make a play on the ball. The fact they're throwing it is pretty impressive in itself, though.
Joined by Pete Dawkins here in the booth. Second quarter. Keith Steelman again lunges across the 40-yard line. CBS College Sports would like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world in 175 countries watching today's broadcast of Army football via AFN, the Armed Forces Network. Thanks for all you do. We hope you're enjoying today's telecast. Pete, you served all over the world for the United States Army. What do you think it's like for those servicemen and women checking this action out today?
I think they're glued to the TV sets. I think they love this. It's a wonderful kind of diversion from the toughness of each day, and they really identify. This isn't just the Army team. This is the Army's team. And I think people in uniform all over the world identify with it and take joy in its success.
Just short. We're going to have a measurement here. It looks like he's a little short, but we will bring the chains out.
And I think because all 4,400 cadets show up to every single game, home game, they become a part of it. It becomes intertwined in their fabric where they feel like they are a part of this. You know what I mean? it's just, you're not just attending, occasionally. You go to the games to see and feel and be a part of it.
And you notice they never sit down.
No, I was always at the first game.
By a nose. It is an Army first down. Myron Lewis, star corner for Vandy, back on the field. His wrist taped up. Did miss a couple plays on this drive. He's a good one. See all the anchor stickers on his helmet. That was given by his position coach, the secondary coach at Vandy, for accomplishments, of which there are many, from Myron Lewis. First down, Army again. Pitch. Brown grabs it. Had a little trouble to handle, and then it swarmed. And hit hard. Chris Marr, the micro middle linebacker, sophomore from Memphis, the first one there.
And they've talked about that pitch a couple times, the coaches have, with the receiver, the slot back's eyes not being on the ball. They said what they want them to do is get the ball first. A lot of times they're looking ahead to see where the defenders are and where the blocks are being set up and where they're going to go next, and they have to get their eyes back to the ball first. Can't go anywhere without it.
You betcha.
Pete, a Rhodes Scholar, U.S. Army Brigadier General, Ivy League education after West Point. So many great things you accomplished in the military and then in the business world. Here's second down. Steelman, pitch, play goes left. Liggins upended very quickly. And the tackle made by Graham. We'll get back to Pete after we see the uniform patches. And Pete, this is something new that Coach Ellerson is doing this year. Every week, a new patch. This week, it's the 101st Airborne.
Well, I think that is terrific, and I think it's doubly so because I commanded the 3rd Brigade of the 101st. It's a very proud unit, a great unit, but for all of them, to give them a week to be identified as the single focus is a great idea.
D-Day 1944, the 101st parachuted into France, became the first Allied soldier to set foot in that occupied country. Historic time for the United States Army.
A little crossed up there.
Flags fly. And Army backs up 5. So back to the question, Pete, I had for you about how busy a gentleman you were here at West Point and then afterwards. I mean, how did you get all that done? You're one of the top students at the academy. You told me earlier today you played
illegal shift, offense, 2 backs moving, did not reset, 5 yards to the previous spot, 3rd down.
Assistant captain of the hockey team, and you played baseball.
Well, it was those were full days, but I was very young. I was 17 years old when I came, and I loved every part of it, threw myself into everything. There just wasn't anything more you could do that I didn't want to be a part of. And I honestly believe a big part of why my time here turned out as it was that youthful exuberance. And I just really responded to what this place is all about.
I had youthful exuberance, but I didn't have the 6:30 morning thing. I thought I was pretty
Army.
I thought I was pretty youthful.
Second. Charge
it was the
timeout.
morning thing that really got to me.
Got to take a break here, guys. Timeout called by Rich Ellison and Army. Trent Steelman, the cadet quarterback, will talk with his coach and talk strategy when we come back. More on the way. Take on the Air Force Academy. 3 exciting games and special guests. We're joined by Pete here in the booth. 58 Heisman Trophy winner, 1960 Heisman winner from Navy, Joe Bellino, and then Chad Hennings. What a career he had on and off the field. Outland Trophy winner for Air Force. 3 Super Bowl rings for Chad with the Dallas Cowboys. Amazing.
Amazing. Amazing they defend the planes.
Here's the pitch. It's Mealy, Army's leading rusher. And Marv hammers him rudely out of bounds on that carry left.
The other thing this is doing to the defense of Vanderbilt is a lot of times we've seen the defenses kind of gain the speed of the triple option over the first half. Well, they've seen so much here in the first half that they haven't really been able to settle in and kind of get a feel for it.
Here comes Alex Carlton and a 51-yard attempt. Alex, of course, missed the potential game winner. 12 seconds left last week against Tulane. Hit it wide right. This would be a career long for him. And he's got it. How about Alex Carlton? And there go the cannons across Lusk Reservoir and the plebes, Pete. You remember, right? Push-up time. Only 3, but you got to get out there, get going.
Here they come. Here they come, streaming out of the stands.
You did that yourself one day, right?
I can still remember.
Oh, wow.
I can still remember.
This is a great kick here, Jason.
I'd say Alex Carlton has got that kick from last week out of his mind. You know, Coach Rich Ellerson makes such a point of clearing, reset and clearing, just putting the pass, learning from it, putting it behind you. And as a field goal kicker, it couldn't apply any more to them than anybody else. Like, their whole mindset has to clear and forget about what it was last time that you did and go out there and execute.
Always reminds me of a hockey goalie. You know, cannot live in the last goal that got past him. He's got to be in the moment.
Be in the moment. Move on from that, or it's going to happen again.
You know you play hockey, Pete. And what position do you play in the hockey?
I was a defenseman.
All right.
But
so
I had
talked to quite a few goalies in your day.
I had a habit of charging out and shooting.
So an offensive defenseman, were you?
I didn't.
What kind of team do you have back there?
Had a good team. By the way, I had a record. This is honest, I had more penalty minutes than anyone who's ever played
Really?
hockey.
Little chippy out there. A little aggressive as an offensive defenseman. I like it.
Safe to say you took a little bit of the football to the ice hockey.
Norman deep to receive the kick here from Campbell. Backpedaling, Warren Norman at his 2. Looks for a seam, won't find it. It closes, and down he goes at the 20. And that's where Vanderbilt, down by 3, will take over. Flag on the play. We'll check that out after we look at the Macy's Bio Blast on Larry Smith, the Vanderbilt quarterback, sophomore. Great high school program in Prattville, Alabama, near
During the
Montgomery.
return, illegal block in the back. By the receiving team, number 22, half the distance. First down.
And guys, he's an interesting story. Larry Smith recruited by Alabama and Auburn in that SEC territory of those two schools, but they wanted to play a different position, probably wide receiver. He wanted to play quarterback, so he goes to Van.
He's got a real gun too. I mean, he can throw the ball.
And the coaches were saying that he's one of those guys. He has all the physical tools to be a great quarterback. It's just a matter of figuring him out. The quarterback position is easy to play, harder to learn.
He's there athletically, no question about it. Stacy in, direct snap coming here for Vanderbilt. Handoff, Norman running right. McNary and Rodriguez track him down. Coming up later on our broadcast, we'll have the Home Depot Tools to Victory. Jason will break down the key aspects. What happens today here in the field? So far, one key, one tool certainly has been the right leg of Alex Carlton. 51-yarder, career long.
And confidence builder.
For sure. Smith back in. Shotgun.
Not much time.
Throws into some traffic, and Cole makes a great catch. John Cole, who missed most of last week's game with Ole Miss with an injured hand, looks fine there. Out to the 31-yard line. Not much time there, right, guys?
The key here is the protection. You saw in the first couple of series, the Army defensive front was really getting to him and not allowing him the time to find the receiver. Now he's got all the time in the world. He can step up, throw a nice ball, great catch too. But time, he's got to have the time to throw it.
17-yard pickup. That hand looks like it's hurting him again. We'll get a report there on Cole. Time for the team leading catches coming in. Reverse. Comes to the near side. Uma. Travis got a piece of him, got by Donovan, and eventually Victor Ugeni put down Uram Uma. He's a sophomore from Fort Valley, Georgia. He was born in Nigeria.
And you see a little trickeration when you're not having a lot of success. You kind of want to soften up the defense, give them something else to think about, get them on their heels. Don't just allow them to line up, pin their ears back, come after your quarterback.
2nd and 2. Again, some motion. Handoff, Norman gets by Erzinger, not by Anderson. Steven. An aggressive play from his middle linebacker spot. Army's leading tackler coming into this game. But it is a first down for Vanderbilt. Cadet Adams has more on Steven Anderson.
Yes, sir. Steven Anderson was my second semester math project partner, and I can truly say that his work ethic on and off the field is amazing. As you can see, he's a Cal year team captain, so a junior team captain here at the academy is really a big deal because he gets senior privileges even as a junior. So he's got a fridge in his room, maybe a couch, maybe a table. That's a big deal around here.
Smith is hit, crossing the 45-yard line. So, Pete, what do you think about that? Junior captain here at Army for Steven Anderson. That's a big deal.
That's a new thing to me. I'm just not familiar with it. But they, this is all a leadership workshop here, and that clearly is one part bringing along, you know, an emerging leader.
But you can explain the privileges. He made a point of saying he's got extra privileges that he otherwise wouldn't have. Now that part you can understand.
I can understand that well.
The fridge, the couch.
Direct snap here, Stacy. Smith is split out to the left. Zach Stacy, rung up, Travis, and Erzinger on the double team. And slam him down at the 46.
Travis.
And this is really the strength of the Army football, of the Army defense, is pressuring the quarterback and stopping the run. The only way they're going to give up big plays is if they have the time, or if the quarterback has the time to throw it and get downfield, because they rely so much on their front four to create pressure that they tell their DBs, you're not going to be up, you're not going to have to cover for 5 seconds, 6 seconds. He should be down.
Third down conversion try. Vandy, ball tipped. It's incomplete. Rodriguez the closest to it. Ball intended for Warren Norman. Good pressure again for Army on the pass rush. Getting in the face of Larry Smith.
And you can see that there with a safety blitz. You know, they're bringing everybody. They're trying to do things outside the box to make life uncomfortable for the quarterback. Right there, you said that's a safety coming, and a good job of getting his hand up. You're not going to get to the quarterback. Make him throw over you, not through. He's not going to throw through you.
Great pressure on the blitz for Donnie Dixon. Flags fly before Upson can punt for Vanderbilt.
False start. 22 offense. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
And guys, Vandy is a team that's lost to Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU in the Murderers Row Southeastern Conference. And they've got to win non-league games like this. A big game for Vandy today.
If they want to get to a bowl game, these are the games they have to win. These are the games that on their schedule they're looking at going, that's winnable for us. If ever there were that kind of scenario, I know coaches will never tell you they do that.
Wins over Western Carolina and Rice. That's it so far for Vandy. Jones receives the Upson punt. Spin move. Josh Jones looks for a seam and some room and is tracked down from behind. Hit by Archie Barnes on special teams for Vanderbilt.
And Army is not playing the role of walkover.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a look at today's real-time fan poll brought to you by Tech Station. An update, Pete. Navy has the overwhelming advantage on Armed Forces Appreciation Day, in which academy will have the most wins.
Well, I think Navy has earned that by their performance over the last several seasons. But we're in the business of turning that around.
That in this game, 3-0.
Yeah, it should have read points. Should have read points scored today on Armed Forces Appreciation Day. We'll get that updated for you. Not the wins, which we talked about earlier this year. And I agree, Pete, because Navy has won the Commander-in-Chief's trophy 6 straight times.
It's nice to have an answer even to the wrong question. That's right.
That's right. How about the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, Pete? It came in after your time, 1972 initiated. What do you think of the policy having that trophy?
Well, the first graduating class of the Air Force Academy was my year, so we didn't have competition against them.
That's right.
But that's become, you know, kind of the conference championship for the service academies. They aren't members of the conference, the Army and Navy aren't. And so it's acquired an awful lot of importance, maybe not nationally or maybe not across the NCAA, but among the service academies, that's kind of the gold symbol.
And now when you were here, Army and Air Force were the same? Is that what it was? They were all under the same umbrella?
Well, they started the Air Force Academy when I was a plebe, so they graduated their first class. Prior to that, graduates from West Point could go into the Air Force or into the Army. And so the Air Force didn't have its academy, and that was felt like it was an absence, and so they created the academy. And of course, it's become a remarkable institution in its own right.
So it was created during your plebe year?
Yes.
Okay.
Last Commander-in-Chief's trophy title for Army, 1996, the Independence Bowl year. They started 9-0. Only 2 losses that year, bowl game to Auburn and Syracuse. That was the last time Army was over 500 during a season. Play action for Steelman on 2nd down. Throws far side. Hunter lunging. Makes a nice catch at the 49. Coverage there for Caldwell, but not in time. First down for Army.
They're doing a good job of throwing the ball, but they missed a huge play there as Villanueva was running, streaking down the right sideline. The DB just completely fell for the play action.
Under 2 minutes, guys, left here in the first half. Steelman overwhelmed. Brent Trice got there. Slams him down.
You know, we talk about a 6'10" wide receiver and how can you miss him sometimes, but if the quarterback or the cornerback's eyes are bad, he can be wide open.
Pete, he was wide open, Pete.
My heart.
6'10", how did he miss that guy?
Gosh.
And Trent's 6 of 10, and I believe his high passing before this was 7 attempts an entire game. He's got 10 the first half. Safe to say they're opening it up a little bit more.
He only had 13 completions coming into this game today on the season. There's another, but Hunter is hit hard. And the ball is dislodged. Casey Hayward, the corner from Elko, Georgia, makes a nice play.
And they look good doing it. It doesn't look like it, you know, it isn't something that's in their repertoire that they can't be successful at. They look very adept throwing the football. Now you wonder, well, where's it been for the last 5 games?
It doesn't seem to be forced, does it? That's been the problem before. We've seen the quarterbacks trying to force the pass. Now it feels like it's becoming a part of the offense.
And it's also a rhythm. As the quarterback gets a feel for the game, he's allowed to throw a little bit more. He'll feel more comfortable throwing it.
Third down and long here for Army. Only a minute 18 to go in the first half. Rolling right. Steelman tucks it under, will run, lunging. Needed to get to the 41 of Vandy for the first, and he's going to be shy by about a yard. This could be 4-down territory. Army's used all of its timeouts, and no play stoppage possibilities for Coach Ellerson. So Pete, we're under a minute here in the first half. We've really enjoyed having you for the second quarter in the booth on Armed Forces Appreciation Day. What's happening with Pete Dawkins today and in the future?
Well, one of the things is I'm trying to spend some time with the Army team and see if we can get them into a really first-rate chance. But I guess I'm technically retired at this stage, but it sure doesn't seem that way from my schedule. And I've actually been in the financial business for quite a while, and I've got my own company and doing some very interesting things. Some of them in the Middle East.
As when you come from this organization, this type of itinerary, this schedule, can you ever slow down from that? I mean, when you're here in West Point and you're used to that, do you think the cadets leave and slow their life down, or are you just programmed to go that fast all the time?
Well, I can't answer that question, and other than in general terms, but there is a vitality about the place, and if you don't come with that vitality, you acquire it here, and I think it does extend on to how you live your life.
I like that. If you don't come with it, you'll acquire it.
No, you better.
Trust me.
Washington deep to receive the Bulls punt after the delay of game penalty on Army. Don't want to give Vandy too much time here at the end of the half. High punt. Washington grabs it at the 8. Backpedals. Spins away from trouble. Going the wrong way, Alex. And he's nudged out of bounds inside the 5 on the final play of the first half. Pete, it's been a real pleasure having you. Thanks so much for your time, and the best of luck with all of your future endeavors.
My joy, and thank you again for putting on this Armed Forces Appreciation Week and this day with the 3 service academies. It's really very special, and we appreciate it.
And we see that, and it's been an opportunity, a great opportunity for us to sit up here with you and pick your brain a little bit about the academy and the players and everything. So thank you for coming and joining us.
My pleasure.
Coming up inside College Football Studios, Adam Zucker, Brian Jones will have all the early highlights, including updates. There is Army's hero so far, Alex Carlton, responsible for the only 3 points in our ball game to this point. Let's review the first half stats reeled in by Bass Pro Shops.
I think the one thing that really stands out here is, and it's not that glaring, it's only 49 yards, but it's the fact that it's 49 yards, and they've really tried to throw it up. He's thrown for his single game high in the first half of this football game. The other thing, obviously, for Vanderbilt is the rush yards. They really wanted to be able to establish the run against this defense, and they haven't been able to do that. They've had a couple of plays, but they can't establish anything, which creates problems when you try to drop back and throw the football if you're not holding the defense with real play action.
Largest crowd of the season at Michie Stadium, and as promised, the weather forecasters were exactly right. Right about halftime, the sun would come out. It has. Big game for Vandy and Bobby Johnson. Bowl team in 08 beat Boston College out of the ACC in the Music City Bowl in Nashville. Their first winning season since '82.
Norman back deep for Vandy.
Yeah, they are 2-3 right now.
And cannot afford a loss.
That's right. Offensive inconsistency, the coach told us this week, a problem. That was an issue for them in the first half. Norman deep, Campbell to kick. There's the loud cannon across Lusk Reservoir, and that is a bad penalty for Army because it gives
Free
Vandy
kick out of bounds. Ball be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
Good field position. Halftime. The family of Felix Blanchard, Heisman Trophy winner here at Army, along with Buster Hagenbach, Superintendent, United States Military Academy. There's his number 35, retired here at Army, right alongside Joe Steffi, who won the 1947 Outland Trophy earlier this year. Joe's number retired here at Army. That was a great reaction from Pete Dawkins about his number being retired.
Larry Smith.
Never thought it would happen. I mean, he's a true legend. And a Heisman Trophy winner himself. All right, here comes Vandy. Their best field position by 21 yards in this game. They have really struggled on offense. Here's a pitch. Norman running hard, running left. And he's got a nice pickup across the 45-yard line to the 48. Stopped by Steven Anderson.
You know, the difference makers we talked about, the offensive line, while they haven't allowed any sacks, they've been up in the quarterback's face a lot. So that has prohibited Larry Smith from getting comfortable in the pocket and having any success throwing it downfield to Udom. So the combination of the pressure from Army has really stifled what they've been able to do in the first half.
Smith some time to throw. Airs it out. Post route. Cole. It's incomplete. Broken up by Mario Hill. Good play at the 15-yard line. On a nice looking throw from Smith, who certainly has the arm strength to get it to the right place.
And the time. He had the time to throw it vertically. The one thing that we've talked about now is if he has the time, we know he can make the throw. It's just a matter of getting into his face. The key is being able to step forward. He's able to step forward. Mario Hill's going to want that ball back, though.
Third and short option look. Smith keeps, heads upfield, first down and more. Here he goes, Larry Smith, 30, far sideline. Aaron and Hill finally track him down inside the 20-yard line.
First down.
And this play was all made at the line of scrimmage by the move he put, and I believe in the option, it's all about, can you confuse the point of attack? And he does a very good job of faking the pitch outside, taking it up the middle, where there really is no more defense if you don't force him to pitch it. You've got to force him to pitch that football outside.
Flag down. 33-yard gain.
Offense, 12 men in formation, 5 yards, still first down.
We'll back up the Commodores 5. Jeff Flanagan is our referee today. Coach Johnson incensed. This is the first time, Jason, the Commodores have been across midfield.
And it's one thing that he really thought they would be much more capable of doing against this defense. They really felt pretty comfortable being able to run the football against them.
8 penalties, 59 yards for the Commodores. Those are deadly. Motion, quick handoff. Norman, McNary tracks him down from behind inside to the 20-yard line. That direct snap play to Zach Stacy, used a lot by Vandy's coaches today.
I think sometimes they get a little misconstrued with the height and weight of the Army defense, and they just assume, oh, we've got big guys, we'll be able to move them off the ball. But they do such a good job of getting off of blocks and getting to the ball carrier.
Red zone numbers, not good for Vandy. There are only 120 teams in FBS, and they're number 112 in the category. Lots of movement on the line, whistles, and flags will stop this play from starting. Going to be a false start on Vandy.
Prior to the snap, false start, 60 on the offense, 5 yards, still second down.
And these are some of the reasons they're not very good in the red zone. You get there, you can't self-destruct. You can't make it even longer. It's You've already got 20 yards to go. You're the center. You're the guy. You can't do that. You see him.
9 penalties, 64 yards. They had 12 penalties against Ole Miss in that loss last week. Most in 5 years. Smith throwing, looks for Brandon Barden. That's broke up incomplete. Steve Erzinger on coverage at the 18-yard line.
For Brandon Barden.
Barden, a former recruit as a quarterback at Virginia Tech. Didn't like how things were shaping up in Blacksburg and transferred to Vandy. He's now become a tight end H-back type player.
And these are the situations that are difficult for offensive coordinators because you just don't have a lot of 3rd and 13 plays in your playbook.
Vandy 2 for 7, 3rd down conversion so far. Smith, time to throw. Fires, broken up. That wasn't caught. What a play by Cole through traffic. I thought that was going to be broken up for sure, and John Cole brought it in. It was Travis who had a great shot at getting there and somehow didn't get a hand on it.
These are the plays we were talking about earlier.
He got a hand on it.
You got to lay out for that, though. You have to make sure the ball doesn't get through there. These are we're talking. They've got to be able to make plays on the ball downfield. When you, as safeties, that's your responsibility. When you're deep, make a play on the deep ball.
So I was right. It was broken up. It was just caught by Cole. Great play. Here's Smith on the keep. He's inside the 5-yard line. Vandy on the march here. Dixon brought him down. In addition to Erzinger. I mean, that's a great catch by Cole, who has been bothered by a hand injury. Scored on a long end-around play in the win over Rice for Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago. Didn't play against Ole Miss last week because of a left hand problem. What a catch that was.
Concentration.
Man. All right, second down. Not much there. Play running right. Stacy. Hit by Rodriguez.
This is where you need some misdirection, some play action, a bootleg, something to get Larry Smith on the edge where he has a two-way go. He's got the opportunity to run it in or dump it in for a quick pass. This Army defense isn't just going to sit there and allow you to run the ball right down their throat. You're going to have to get to the outside. You're going to have to do something different than just run the ball vertically up the football field.
Ryan Van Rensburg is the fullback to the left of Smith. Big play on third down. Play action. Smith. Flush left, fires, end zone, incomplete. Barton the closest to it, but nowhere near that ball. Good pressure from McNary again, and the Army defense all over Larry Smith. Field goal time for Vandy.
And that's just, when you see a quarterback with this much athletic ability, and you're down there on the 3-yard line, you've got to get him out on the outside where he can use that athletic ability just to drop him back in the middle on a regular drop back. No misdirection, no bootleg. The defense sees that coming. You've got to do something to throw him off.
Here's Ryan Fowler, Jason, to try the field goal. First-year starter, redshirt freshman from Taylor's, South Carolina. 29-yard attempt. 19, make that. He's got it. Now 6 of 10 on the year for Fowler. And we are tied. 3-3 game from West Point, New York.
Are you?
Second 7 record last season. With the help of Home Depot, let's see what has made some successful play in today's game.
It's the triple option. It starts and ends with the triple option for Army. And what they want to do is they want to confuse the defensive end, the linebacker. If the defensive end closes down the fullback, keep it. If he goes out, give it to him. Linebacker closes in the quarterback, give it to the slot back. He goes to the slot back, keep it, go up the field. And what you see is a quick play, live action. There's 1, 2, and 3. That goes fast. As fast as we see it, they have to react and stop it.
Rich Ellison bringing that over from Cal Poly, that tough offense for defenses to shut down.
And I think they've done a very good job today of trying to show them other things so they can't just sit there and concentrate on just the triple option, just the midline option. The quick passes, it's going to slow them down, and they don't get to see it as much. The one thing you can't assimilate is the game speed of Army's triple option. So if you come out here and you play the game and they're not running it a lot, it's still kind of new to the defense.
Coach told us yesterday some of the troubles as the ball just does not want to stay on the tee. May have to have a holder here for Vandy. More gusty conditions. They've had 10 guys doing things the right way. The problem is precision is needed with a triple option or the midline option as well in terms of execution. And if one guy's slightly off because angles and speed and explosion are required, the whole thing won't work.
The whole thing's off.
So we got a holder here for Fowler. Mealy lets that bounce. Grabs it at the 4. Looks for some room, finds none. Dropped at the 15-yard line. difference maker. Update.
Steelman has done everything well. He's thrown the ball well. He's run the ball well. Malcolm Brown not near the touches they said that they wanted to get him in this football game. And Damian Hunter hasn't had a lot of opportunities, although he has done well catching the football. Vanderbilt defense, Myron Lewis, no deep passes. You've seen them take a couple shots. He's been there to stop it. Chris Marv has done a good job of playing sideline to sideline, and Broderick Stewart has done a good job. I think as far as the triple option goes, they've done a pretty good job of slowing it down. It's just a matter of stopping this play and the midline option.
Here is Hunter. Speaking of touches, on the spin screen, flags fly. As Damian is nailed outside the 10-yard line. Let's investigate the call. It's going to be another false start. Backing up Army, it appears.
No. Illegal formation. The offense had 5 men in the backfield. The penalty will be declined. Second down.
Be sure to check out NBA 2K10 from 2K Sports. Rated E for everyone.
Everyone?
Absolutely. Who will you take over, Jason? I want to know. You played basketball yourself in college, you told us.
When you play those games, the one thing you have to do is find the stud. LeBron, Kobe, and just shoot the lights out with them. Make them stop you.
So Vandy declines the penalty. It's a 2-yard loss on that pass play to Damian Hunter. 2nd and 12. Give goes up the middle.
Straight ahead.
Kingsley Ahee on a short gain.
And this is
made the stop.
And this is the problem Army's had every game this season is the second half start for them, defensively and offensively. Lighting the fire, getting the same energy and emotion they had in that first quarter to come out in the third quarter. They've picked up on the fourth, but they've always come out a little bit flat. I think they've been outscored by 30 points in the second half.
A grand total, Jason, of 3 points in the third quarter in 5+ games. 3. Steelman trying to change that here. Rolling right, throws on the move. Pass is incomplete.
Steelman's pass is incomplete.
Trying to hit Malcolm Brown on the move. It'll be punt time for Army. Jamie Graham on coverage. And we asked all 3 coaches we spoke with yesterday, both coordinators, head coach Rich Ellerson, players we spoke with as well, Mike Gann on defense, Zach Peterson starting center on offense, about the second half lull. What happens? We had different answers, didn't we?
All kinds of answers, from being up and not being able to deal with the expectations of being up and suddenly you're the favorite, to not being able to start the fire from the halftime adjustments, to the other team making better adjustments. I mean, there's a myriad of reasons.
Whoa, watch out. It's Graham who runs into Washington on the punt return. He gets nailed by Erzinger from behind. Real trouble there for Jamie Graham, the sophomore from Nashville. Communications issue is with Alex Washington. The Corps Cadets still plenty to cheer about. We're all tied up. Beautiful day for football at West Point. Win a trip to the biggest game of the year. Lusk Reservoir right across from that. You'll see Mikey Stadium jam-packed with the Corps Cadets. 4,000 plus, mandatory, gotta come to the games. Root on the Black Knights. Let's take a look at today's real-time fan poll brought to you by Tech Station. So, the update, wow, look at that. Navy at Rice. That's a game in Houston you can see here on the CBS College Sports Network, part of Armed Forces Appreciation Day. Rice 0-5, Navy, Jason, coming off that big win over Air Force in overtime.
I'm going to say the 3 points today by Army is kind of hurting their numbers on the Tech Station poll.
Alex Carlton's career-long 51-yard field goal so far. The only points for the Cadets. Stacy running left, not much there. Does get across the 30. To the 34.
Carries the ball.
Marcus Hilton makes the play.
Marcus Hilton.
And you're looking at 2 teams trying to find some kind of spark, trying to find some kind of consistency or get something going, and it just nothing's happening for either offense.
That was Norman on the last carry. Throw there, far side, brought in. Cole, with Mario Hill all over him across the 40-yard line, is just shy of the first down.
Mario Hill.
And he's certainly glad that John Cole has come back, the freshman from Somerset, Kentucky, after that hand injury. Had a career best 7 catches against Rice, and the reverse for a touchdown in Houston. Smith diving, should have the first down for Vandy.
And with the pressure that Army's able to create in the passing game, they're going to need to rely more on the quick, short game, not the deep passes.
Boeing is a proud sponsor of Armed Forces Appreciation Day.
They do make the planes. The big planes.
That's right.
The people carriers.
Now Stacy's in, direct snap. Zach is running left. True freshman running over tacklers. McNary finally slings him down with the help of Rodriguez. These are young freshman running backs. Jason, we talked with Bobby Johnson, the head coach from Vanderbilt. Warren Norman, true freshman, Stone Mountain, Georgia. There was Zach Stacy from Centerville, Alabama. These youngins have got to produce this year for Vandy.
They love them both. Both very physical runners. You see a lot of missed tackles at the beginning. It's the third and fourth guy that's bringing them down, but the first and second guy aren't bringing them down very often.
Second down, pitch, Norman. Double teamed and slammed down.
Warren Norman.
CBS College Sports would like to welcome aboard all of our U.S. service members, including those in bases in Italy and Germany, Iraq and Afghanistan, Japan and Korea, watching today's action via AFN, Armed Forces Network. We're proud to have you with us. We want you to know that we're standing behind you as you defend freedom and our way of life. There are 32 companies here at West Point, and you saw the mascot there. That was a plebe. He's the company mascot. And he is an Army fan. He's a cadet here.
If anybody's doing anything like that, it's a plebe.
There's some wild outfits. Our cadet reporter, Kim Cowan, showed us last week. That was fun. Get that report. Swing pass on the screen. Norman gets inside the 45-yard line.
And these are the plays I think they're going to have a lot more success with here in the second half, because it's not only about the time. Obviously, he doesn't have a tremendous amount of time in the pocket, but it's also about the timing between him and his receivers. We've said that, Cole's missed some time with the hand injury, so getting the timing back, I think if they concentrate a little bit more on the quick swing route and the quick out route to the wide receivers, they're going to be able to move the ball a little bit more successfully, soften up the defense, and then be able to run it as well.
So Smith splits out, bottom of your screen. The direct snap, Stacy fakes the handoff and keeps, and runs into a wall of black jerseys. Maybe gets to the line of scrimmage. Now it's time to go in the trenches, brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. Let's check out these numbers, Jason.
Well, I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier. Everybody assumes that because the height and weight of your offensive line outweighs them by 50 pounds a man, that you can just run the football on them. They do a very good job at point of contact. They're not going to run game-wise be on the other side. Pass rush-wise, they're very fast. Run game-wise, they hold up very well, and I think that's misleading for teams when they see those height and weights.
Uma is in motion. Smith throwing on third down. And Cole's got it at the 40. Short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. We'll see what Coach Johnson is thinking about here on a relatively short field. On fourth down.
You got to go for this.
We'll see if he agrees. He does not.
He does not. I just think that you've got a little something going with your offense. You've created some field position change. Give him some confidence. This right here is like, it's a win for Army now. Now you've changed the field position on a whole, but that was a win for Army defense.
Low snap, Brett Upson on a short hop, makes a nice catch of it, and then sends it downfield.
And that's a bigger win.
To the end zone for a touchdown.
Wow. You got two guys there, both of them have to know where they are on the line of scrimmage. You've got to be able to get the ball, throw it back in the field of play, pin him at the 1 yard line. Come on.
Army, cadets started training here at West Point in 1794. The first grad was Joseph Gardner Swift. October of 1802, and later became superintendent. Cadet Adams, what about the training? What's it like here for these guys?
Oh, the training is a huge part of the West Point experience, and everybody that's a part of the Corps Cadets has to go in on the summer training. So during the first summer, we have cadet basic training for the plebes. It's similar to regular Army basic training, and then between your rising sophomore year, you have cadet field training. That's where the bulk of your training comes from.
Got it. Later throughout the broadcast, we'll see some of that training video that we've.
I guess they don't get summers off, huh?
Absolutely not. All right. Army takes over, 1st and 10 from its 20. Here's the pitch. It's Brown trying to find the edge in the corner. And he does have a nice gain on first down. Rung up by Joel Caldwell.
Malcolm Brown on the catch.
Let's go back to Cadet Adams.
Hey, Cadet Adams, I'm intrigued as to your thought process on this 3-3 game, because I can remember your opening, you didn't think it was going to be much of a game.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to see that it is turning into quite a game though, sir. So the Corps of Cadets is really fired up all the way through the second half so far. I know we were really worried about the third quarter, and it's been our really weak point so far in the season. So to see it 3-3, we're really excited. We know we can pull it out in the end, and hopefully we'll see the Dean sing "I Believe I Can Win" at the end of the game.
We shall see. A little more energy and noise down there, Jason, this week.
Absolutely.
With Cadet Adams and the Corps right behind him.
You're 3-3, you got an SEC team, you're hanging with them, and basically what he's saying is, so you're telling me there's a chance.
And what did Cadet Adams tell us yesterday in our little meeting with him?
They were taking bets on campus, on the post, on what they thought the final score would be, and they were thinking, in the 30 to 40s to 10.
Big Vandy win is what they thought. Not happening on the field, though. Brown running left.
Brown carries.
Knocked out of bounds by Broderick Stewart. He's got 5 tackles. We're talking more about Broderick Stewart. He's got a patch on his jersey, Jason, the KD1 patch. It's in honor of Quane Doster, the only SEC freshman of the year in Vandy history, shot and killed in Tampa, 2004. And the team's leadership council votes every year, and Stewart, because of his courage returning from a leg injury, got that patch. Means a lot.
I just think it's a tribute to people who excelled or were difference makers. You want to do things to remember them so that others can remember what it was that made them special.
Richardson, huge hit on Brown. And we said in our difference makers, Malcolm Brown had to have a big impact with carries and touches. He's getting a lot of action here in the second half.
He is in the second half. We saw him a little bit in the first series, and then he disappeared a little bit. And clearly they go into halftime, make some adjustments. They've got him involved a little bit more in the run game, and I think we've seen a little bit more in the second half. They're not quite airing it out the same. Not to say they won't, but they haven't yet.
Third and 2. Steelman pitching. Comes to the near side, Mealy. Lowers his shoulder and gets to the 49-yard line. Chains will move for Army. Myron Lewis makes the tackle. Let's take a look at the Bud Light Stat 6-pack and have some numbers for Mr. Seymour to crunch here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of numbers to crunch on the Army side as far as total scoring opportunities. They're moving the ball well from the 20s, but what you do see that's really interesting to me is this time of possession here. Vanderbilt's done a good job of holding on to the football. The second half, they've run it much better, which has helped their defense stay off the field and kept them, or it's keeping them a little fresher.
Ahee up the middle, buried by Rob Lohr.
And that was one of the things I remember Coach Ellerson being so frustrated with was between the 20s, they could really move the ball. I'm not going to say it will, but they didn't have issues. It's once they got in that red zone, putting points on the board via the touchdown, not the field goal. The 3 field goals last week, I'm sure they would have loved to have 21 points instead.
No question. Carlton 3 of 4 on field goal. Another close game. Last one went right down to the last moments on Carlton's miss and a loss to Tulane. Second and long, little play action. Steelman throwing, looking for the big guy. Contact, Caldwell. And a penalty flag drops on Joel Caldwell. Pass interference on the way.
Pass interference. Defense number 29. The penalty is 15 yards. The previous spot. First down.
And this is the perfect example of a defensive back being in the right position but his head being in the wrong place. You've got to turn your head around. If the official sees you turn your head around and try to make a play on the ball, they won't call it. You see, got fooled on the play action a little bit, but he's got to turn his head the other way, because if the official doesn't see you looking for the ball, the contact is going to be pass interference. If you're looking for the ball, he might overlook a little bit of contact because he thinks you're trying to make a play on it. But the key there was the play action and getting his eyes in the backfield.
Penalty numbers not good for Vandy. Up the middle, Kingsley Ahee. And the B-back in the ABC back setup triple option. That midline option goes right up the middle for a big pickup there.
And that's the thing they say makes this offense work. If they can get the B-back going up the middle successfully, everything else opens up. If they can't open up the middle, it makes it a little bit tougher to run on the edges.
First down.
Gain of 12 there, and Army continues to move the chains here. 1st and 10, under 2 to go in the 3rd quarter. Steelman, late pitch. Mealy looks for the corner and gets hammered by Richardson.
And this is basically Army going back to what they know best, and that's the triple option. They know they're most successful at running the triple option. So you see, they're simply 1, okay, 2, 3. 3rd option works on this play. Throwing the football is nice, and it's something you want to do to keep the defense off balance, but they know, and they found out on this drive, their most success is going to come running that triple option.
Red zone numbers. Mealy picked up 8 there. Steelman trying to head upfield. Is buried immediately by Greg Billinger, senior from Lilburn, Georgia. Seriously hurt in a car accident. Jason, quite a story going back home on a recruiting trip to Vanderbilt. He and his family involved in a very bad car accident. Thankfully, no one seriously injured beyond Greg. No one killed, but he missed half of his senior season because of it.
Call him the Tank?
Good nickname, big guy.
Yeah.
Final moments of the quarter. That should be enough. On 3rd and short to the 10-yard line. I'm impressed with Trent Steelman's day so far.
Absolutely. I mean, making the reads, the triple option, and doing a pretty adequate job of throwing the football around. I mean, I know it's not what they do best, but the fact that they've tried it and they're doing it, I think, is keeping this defense off balance, and that's the key to them being in this game right now. Now it's a matter of scoring touchdowns here. If you want to beat Vanderbilt, they're going to have to score touchdowns and not field goals.
Yep, he's 7 of 13 so far, 47 yards throwing, which is a lot for this Army offense. Here's a pitch. It's Mealy, looks for the corner. Hammer out of bounds on that pitch right. Hit by Trice. And Sean Richardson.
And for those at home, you see them running into the short side of the field a lot. And a lot of people question that and go, wow, why would you run to the short side of the field? And basically, what he does, Trent Steelman does in the triple options, he comes up to the line of scrimmage. There's 11 people. He's got to look at the middle and say, where's the 5 and where's the 6? As simple as that. And where the 5 is where he's got to go with the football.
3 quarters complete. 53. A beautiful day for college football at West Point. Armed Forces Appreciation Day here on the CBS College Sports Network. First of 3 service academies on our air. Navy and Air Force will follow today and tonight. Cadets driving, 4th quarter on the way. We are getting set. 4th quarter action only. 2 field goals on the board so far. Alex Carton, career-long 51-yarder for Army. Ryan Fowler from 19 for Vanderbilt in the 3rd quarter, and that's been it so far.
And we talked about in our opening that it was the defense that blinked first. We knew that they both have very good defenses. Which offense has the sharper pencil to dissect it?
2nd down, up the middle, inside the 5-yard line.
I would say the encouraging thing for Army right now is they were able to withstand the Vanderbilt drive and hold them to a field goal. And then their offense having some momentum success, getting back to what they do best in that triple option and driving the football back down the field again here in what we've called the 2nd half, their miserable half.
Been a struggle for them. Ahee ran a moment ago. He's the back behind Steelman, diving himself. Quarterback keep. Did not get there on 3rd and goal. Play still going. No whistle yet. Is he in? He is! Touchdown!
He never blew the whistle. You see the official. He watched it.
What an effort for Trent Steelman, who lost the helmet, but they will get a touchdown. There's going to be a flag down.
Well, I don't think he realized.
Like after the TD, I believe, on Steelman.
I don't think he realized his helmet got ripped off his head. I don't think he knew he didn't take it off.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure he didn't realize it.
After the touchdown. Unlike conduct, number 67 on the offense for removing the helmet. The penalty will be 15 yards on the kickoff.
So it's the right tackle,
Previous
Jason
play
Johnson.
is under further review.
And now we're going to review the touchdown.
Did he remove the helmet off of Trent Stillman?
No one else had the helmet off. I believe so. Let's see.
Well, when you watch this play, the one thing you'll see is the official comes in from the right side of your screen, and he's watching it, and he's not blowing the whistle. He's watching he's right there, and that whistle's in his mouth, and he's yet to blow it. And credit Trent Stillman, he kept those feet moving. The question is, did he touch the ground? That's tough to see down there in that pile.
Well, Jason Johnson took his own helmet off at the end. The thing is here, Jason, that Steelman's knee never got to the ground. He was on top of bodies. The first look we had was a great look at it because he was still above the ground. And Vandy thought they had him stopped. And just Jason Johnson, there he is. He's also got his helmet off. They both did. I believe Steelman had his ripped off in the pile, and Johnson took it off to celebrate. The incredible second effort.
Great drive by the legs. Just keep them moving, keep them moving. Don't give up. You know, the coaches will always preach to you, play to the whistle. Do not stop until you hear that whistle.
Notice Trent and Jason went right for the Corps Cadets to celebrate. They knew where they're headed, right?
You know where the guys on your side are. Absolutely. In this stadium, you can't miss the white.
First look we had really showed that Steelman did not make contact with the ground. He's in the pile actually down in terms of his body being horizontal, but
he didn't
not
appear to
on
touch the ground.
The turf.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Touchdown. That's a wild play.
And that's a heads-up play by a freshman. We're talking about a kid in his 6th game. He's in a pile. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep going. No one's blown the whistle. The play's not dead yet.
Third rushing touchdown for the young freshman on the season. Carlton has the PAT. And a huge touchdown for Army. After a career-high 95 yards rushing last week, Steelman up to 80, and it's time to celebrate for Trent Steelman and Jason Johnson. Right to the core, guys, right?
Well, now they're down at the 15-yard line.
So the unsportsmanlike penalty on Johnson, who is a senior from Las Flores, California, the only returning starter on the offensive line. That's why they now got a kick from the 15. So that really will alter field position here for Vanderbilt. Give them a great shot. Campbell will kick. Norman deep to receive here for Vandy.
There's all kinds of mistakes in a football game, but the self-inflicted ones are the worst ones.
From the 15-yard line. Cans go off. Norman at the 24. Up the middle he goes. Hit. Still on his feet. Warren Norman, 50. Near side, 40. The burst, 30. Here he goes on the sideline. He will score. Goal line, end zone, touchdown, Vanderbilt. No flags down. 76 yards.
And you go from taking the emotion and the momentum to giving it right back with a penalty that makes you kick off from the 15-yard line. A good job, again, a good job of keeping his legs going. Great balance, don't stop, keep him driving, get to the outside, foot race to the end zone, touchdown.
First career kickoff return for a touchdown for the freshman. Warren Norman out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Fowler nails the PAT. Remember, though, that Campbell had a kick from the 15-yard line after Jason Johnson's unsportsmanlike penalty really changed the return for Norman. Samuels on the tackle, 42-yard return for Hunter. Brought one back 46 yards last week in that last moment effort against Tulane.
Marcus Edward Jones, Tampa Bay and the Buffalo Bills. My debut in the NFL, for me, it was the next step of what.
Mikey Stadium. Let's take a look at the drive of the game brought to you by Scion. Temporarily, Jason gave Army a lead.
The 15 yards, the big play they're looking for. The 4th and 1, and then the drive to keep your legs moving to get yourself into the end zone. Smart, heady play by the freshman, Trent Steelman.
But
they gave it all away with
into that play. And see Jason Johnson, there he is behind his quarterback, ripped his helmet off. Unsportsmanlike call, backed up Matt Campbell 15 yards on the ensuing kickoff, which was brought back by Warren Norman for a touchdown, 76 yards for Vandy. There's Ahi carrying, stopped by TJ Greenstone. And that's why we are tied 10-10 here in the 4th, familiar territory after that close game last week.
Well, you know what's interesting about this is the fact we've talked to both coaches a lot about time of possession and how to, take it over from Army because they maintain the ball. That last drive was 13 plays, 80 yards, and 6 minutes. The defense is right back on the football field again.
Quick handoff, it's Mealy. Got to jet through traffic. Crosses midfield to the 46.
And you just wonder, a defense comes off the football field and they realize they're going to have a couple minutes to rest and relax. Quick touchdown return on the kickoff, and all of a sudden you're right back on the football field again.
And less than 1.
Sean Richardson made the tackle for Coach Ellerson. His team just shy of the first down. 3rd and less than a yard here from the 46 of the Commodores. Brown shifts. Mealy fakes a move. Now he goes in motion. Here's the pitch. Patrick Mealy running right. A cut back. Lowers the shoulder. Crosses the 45-yard line to the 44. Does have an Army first down. Patrick Benoit made the tackle defensively for Vanderbilt. Armed Forces Appreciation Day continuing on the CBS College Sports Network. All 3 academies on the air today and tonight. Navy Rice, the midshipman, off that overtime thrilling win over Air Force at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis last week, taking on winless Rice. TCU Air Force as well. Watch out for the Horned Frogs, thinking about BCS busting this year in their great run defense. Won't be easy for the Falcons and Coach Calhoun to move the ball. They love to run. A lot of the year they've had the top run offense in the nation against the 7th best run defense in the country from TCU.
But they can also throw it adequately.
Malcolm Brown.
Not great, adequately. It's a part of their arsenal. And you're seeing here a Vanderbilt defense that's a little bit gassed right now. So this triple option, this is where it really starts to take effect. When you get a defense that's a little bit down, a little bit winded, you just keep coming at them.
Wearing down the opposition pitch. Mealy running right. First down for Army.
You'll see fewer and fewer defensive linemen chasing after the ball down the field.
Cadet Adams in front of the Cora Cadets. We talked earlier, Devin, about the cadet training. How difficult is it in the daily life for a cadet here at Army?
Yes, sir. It's pretty difficult. The hardest thing about it is just the time constraint. When you have about 6 hours of homework every day, as you can see the survival swimming footage right here, this is in the Combat Survival Water Lab that we have in Arvin Gymnasium. And this used to be a required course for plebes, but is now for cows.
Steelman dives up the middle, has a nice gain, gets to the 25-yard line. The cows are the juniors, plebes are the freshmen. So, Devin, what has been the most challenging for you in terms of training?
Oh, well, sir, I have not taken the swimming course yet, but I'm anticipating that's going to be my most challenging. But besides that would be military movement, which is a gymnastics class that we took as freshmen. It was pretty difficult and very difficult for the football players to get their big selves up over some of the limber obstacles that we have.
Second out here for the cadet offense. Spin, the handoff, and a short gain to the 23-yard line. Malcolm Brown, the ball carrier.
Hey, Cadet Adams, I have a question for you. I was told that if you can't pass the survival swim, you can't graduate?
You cannot. It is a graduation core requirement. The swimming class, as well as the Combat Survival Swimming Lab, those 2 things you have to pass in order to graduate from the academy. I've seen a lot of good people leave this place because they cannot pass the swimming course.
Wow.
Wow. Forget everything else. If you can't pass the survival swim, going home.
3rd and 3, big play, Army offense. Steelman keeps, lowers the shoulder. Needed to get to the 19, did not make that much progress, exactly to the 20-yard line. Was stopped by Joel Caldwell, a free safety for Vandy, who spent a month last May in Greece on an exchange program. That's part of that 6-year-old transition that Vanderbilt made from a traditional athletic department to rolling athletics into the student life.
You know, and this is a play that offensive coordinator Ian Shield says they've got to be able to make. They've got to be able to get 1 yard running the football as a running team.
They're going to go for it. Another huge play for Army. Steelman bottled up, sent backwards. All depends on the spot. I don't think he got there. Just got to the line of scrimmage. Terrell Brandon ran right into him. No need for a measurement. Vanderbilt takes over 1st and 10.
And going back to that, offensive coordinator Ian Shields was saying they've got to be able to convert those. On the flip side, the defense, huge stop on the 4th down conversion, eliminating points.
And that's the hash of preference for Carlton on the left.
He did say he would prefer to be on the left hash on his field goals, but also have to look at the flags. The 30 or so American flags blowing on the top of the stadium are all in his face. So I think that played into it, and they also believe that this offense can get a yard.
Smith, Vandy offense taking over here 1st and 10. Little time, hit as he throws. Intercepted, Travis at the 40. Here he goes on the right side, 20. Looking for the corner. Donovan Travis knocked out of bounds at the 7.
This is what we've been saying. They've got to create the pressure. If they create the pressure on the quarterback, they're going to create big plays in the secondary. You'll see the push come from up the middle. They get this. The quarterback's got to know, I don't have time to throw a deep ball with this. So he gets hit, can't step forward. Key for quarterbacks, they want to be able to step forward. We talked about Victor Ugini getting a push up the middle. Does he have to get a sack? Clearly not. Just get the push. And when a quarterback wants to throw the football deep, he has to finish going forward. If he can't do that, it's all arm and he can't get the ball nearly as far. And when you get bumped, it doesn't help your throwing motion.
Team best, 4th interception for Donovan Travis, the junior from Glendale, Arizona. Remember the pick 6 he had against Ball State to win the game earlier this season. Huge play for Travis and the Army defense. 1st and 10 now for the Cadets. Pitch, Mealing, upended, little helicopter. Richardson sending him airborne inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal.
And you see a play like this, and you just feel the emotion for Army right now. They've got a huge swing, and it's just like, at this point, the offense will do whatever it takes. Just get us in the end zone. Right now, you can feel like a huge momentum shift just go towards the offense, and they're thinking to themselves, just punch it in.
He lined up behind Trent Steelman. 2nd and goal. Motion man comes to the near side. Look out. Brown juggled it and then gets drilled. Caldwell hits him hard outside the 5. Loss of 5 on the play. Big play for the Vandy defense there.
Not a good place to be fumbling the ball. This is what they talk about, though. With the slot backs, they've got to secure the football first before they start looking upfield to see where the blockers are. And here, you can see his head was already on the defensive players, where they were and how he was going to avoid them before he got the football in his hands.
It's a great play by Casey Hayward, the right corner from Elko, Georgia. Team's leader in tackles for loss coming in, showing us why. Play action. Steelman throws end zone. Villanueva incomplete. Alejandro trying to go up high to grab it. He's already 6'10". Trice on coverage. Field goal time for Army.
But a good play by number 29, Joel Caldwell. You see, he just gets in the throwing motion. He's kind of coming, goes back. That right there forces Trent to put the ball a little bit higher than he wanted. It's hard to say it's too high when you're a 6'10" guy, but when you put somebody in the throwing lane, it naturally forces the quarterback to throw the ball high.
Carlo try a 23-yarder here from the left hash. He's got it. The cannon's going off here at Mikey Stadium and across Les Lusk Reservoir.
It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico. Who's watching? It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico.
This is the information retailers don't want you to know.
especially now. They don't want you to learn just how much money you've been giving away to retail markups on items you purchase for your home. All because you don't know how to buy like the insiders do at Direct Buy Club, the home improvement and furnishings club with direct insider prices.
The best thing about Direct Buy is you're getting the best price that you can, and it's very easy to go shopping at Direct Buy. I've purchased
13-10 game here. Army capitalizing on the big play by Donovan Travis. Field goal, second of the day for Carlton, leading us to the Chili's game review here, Jason.
Well, the big kickoff return after the poor penalty, the bad decision to take your helmet off, put Vanderbilt right back into this football game when offensively and defensively they had no business being in it here in the second half. The stop on fourth down you would have thought would be a good momentum change shifter, but then the interception returned down and the field goal to take the lead for Army has kind of given it back. But I will say this, I think Vanderbilt's been on the field for just about the second half the entire time. For them to hold up down there was a win for them. Your defense has been given a short field. Nothing you can do now, just eliminate the touchdown.
Off go the Cannons. Ball bobbled by Vandy. Norman picks it up. Last time he touched it, he ran it back for a touchdown. Not this time. Antoine Aaron puts him down outside the 25-yard line to the 26, and that's where Vandy takes over first and 10. Great crowd today, Jason. You and I have done 4 games here at Michie Stadium this year. 34,357, largest crowd of the season today.
And, you know, we've talked to them about that, you know, where their alumni are. They're like, our alumni are all over the world. They don't live here in West Point. So for us to get a crowd, we've got our cadets and we've got our players, fans, but it's the community around here that comes out and supports this football team.
Turned to a beautiful day. Smith handing off. Short gain on first down for Warren Norman. True freshman star running back who brought that long return back for a touchdown. The only TD of the day for Vandy has come on special teams.
And this is where Vanderbilt has to realize what they've had success with today, and that's throwing the short intermediate passes. They can't protect long enough to get the ball downfield vertically. They've got to use the short intermediate pass.
Steven Anderson, no whistle though, it's Norman. Warren Norman running free. 30-yard line, 20, here he goes. He will win the foot race to the end zone. Touchdown, Vanderbilt. Can you believe that? 73 yards. Steven Anderson had him stopped. No whistle because the knee didn't go down. And Norman kept on trucking.
Here he is right here. He's coming. Steven Anderson makes a good play. Looks like he got him down. Did his knee touch? Yeah, I believe his knee's touching right there.
This was going to come back.
Coming back. But it goes back to what we were saying earlier. No whistles blew. So as the Army defense, you may think you saw his knee, but until you hear a whistle, keep playing. Play to the whistle. Yeah, if you see here, it looks like right there, knees down. Knees clearly down. And he actually braced himself with it.
And the fans are seeing it on the large screen replay here at Michie Stadium, and they are confident this will be brought back.
What's interesting is you can see the defense walking back to the 35-yard line as well after watching that replay.
And Warren Norman's got to be gassed after running all the way for a touchdown. He thought was going to give Vandy the lead. This is going to come back.
Down.
Great look.
Right there.
Look, everybody.
I will say this about Warren Norman. He didn't hear a whistle either, so you know what he did? He kept running. And it forces somebody to make a decision. And these are the exact reasons they have review.
Remember, it was Steven Anderson last week, Jason, who missed the tackle on Andre Anderson, who started the late Tulane drive that eventually led to the game-winning field goal. And we know Steven felt terribly about that all week long. He had a legal tackle, it appears, on this one. We'll just get it confirmed by video.
And it was a very similar play to the right side of the football field. He was chasing it down, went to grab him. Anderson shook the tackle off, took it down. It's about the 10-yard line. They kicked that field goal.
Boy, the emotions on the sideline. You think you have a long touchdown run. It's going to be taken off the board. Still 6:46 to go.
It is kind of funny looking at the field and seeing the Vanderbilt players huddled up on the 20 on offense and the defense over here on the 40. And usually when plays take this long, a lot of times it's because they want to see where he should be down. So what they want to do is they want to confirm, okay, what yard line do we put the ball back? What down is it? All those, details. Because from a standpoint, it doesn't really look like there's much to see.
Should be on the 30-yard line. As the review continues here.
Yeah, the other key is to watch the official writing. If he's writing, it's usually not a good thing.
Pretty unique situations. The Steelman touchdown run. No whistle. Same on the Norman run. And he makes a great point. It's a good teaching moment for young football players out there. Play to the whistle. Don't stop until you know the play's over.
Never assume anything. Our coaches would tell us, don't assume the official got it right or wrong. You just play until you hear otherwise. And when he means that, he says, you play till you hear that whistle blow. If it doesn't blow, keep going. A lot of times with the college, game, because you can be down by contact, if an NFL guy takes a knee.
After further review, the runner was down.
So a lot of times.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 on the 30-yard line. Please reset the clock to 6:55. 6:55, please.
So a lot of times you'll see college kids come to the NFL game and they see a guy put his knee down, they stop running. And the coach is screaming, no, whistle. Well, here, same thing. They saw the knee, but you didn't hear the whistle. So you just go always to the whistle, assume nothing.
If there's an advantage there for Bobby Johnson's team, chance to take a breather for Norman, but Stacy is in now as the featured back, and it's 3rd down. Commodores 4 for 11, 3rd down try so far in this game.
And here's where they want to run a route at the 1st down marker. Don't try to go any further. You can't protect long enough. Just make sure you get the 1st down.
Army showing blitz. Here comes the pressure. Smith throws, ball tip, airborne, incomplete, looking for Uma, good play, Rodriguez. Pressure from Mike Gann, who is pumped up for Army, and it's 4th down.
And a great job by the Army defense of bringing the pressure, knowing they've got to get the ball out quickly, forcing the issue. If you bring more pressure, you will force them to throw the ball quicker.
Andrew Rodriguez. Heard from him earlier about the conversations he has with his father David, stationed in Afghanistan, Lieutenant General.
Those have got to be some great conversations when you're talking to your dad who's a general.
We played college football here. Jones on the return at the 15. Met immediately and put down.
I mean, you think about that. You have a conversation not only with your father, but with a general in the Army. You're going to get a lot of input there.
I'll say. A lot of motivation. Tristan Strong, redshirt freshman linebacker from Loganville, Georgia. Injured player on the field for Vandy.
Are you
place today? Strict discipline, standard course of study, honorable conduct, known as the father of the military academy. What a scene here at West Point. Tristan Strong being looked at on the Vandy bench by team trainers. Army takes over. Up the middle, big play. On 1st down, Malcolm Brown continues to have the big roll, gets to the 29-yard line.
And this is the point of the game where Coach Ellerson has told us they've got to be able to run out the clock. They've got to be able to take the field, run their offense, change field position. Whether we score or not now, he said, isn't important. We've got the lead. This is where we have to control the game.
What a roll for Brown in this one. There's Steelman diving ahead. He will move the chains for Army. Malcolm Brown from Bayshore, New York. First significant action against Tulane last week. Let's take a look at the Bud Light stat 6-pack numbers. Jason, stretch run here.
Well, this here, the rushing yards, clearly in the 2nd half, they've gotten back to what they do best. They've given up on the pass. They said, you know what, we run it best. Time of possession. It was 18-20 earlier in this half. All of a sudden now it's 32-20. I'm sorry, 18-20 Army. They've controlled the ball here in the 2nd half. That alone is going to take the energy out of the defense.
Can they hang on today? 3-point lead late. Here's the pitch. It's Mealy. Looks for the corner. As met there outside the 30-yard line. Hit hard on the play by Chris Marv, the redshirt sophomore middle linebacker from Memphis. Tied for second in the SEC. Tackles per game over 9. Tied with a guy named Rennie Curran of Georgia. That's a big name there.
Good company, to say the least.
I'll say.
And you see, just a moment ago, you got big Greg Billinger, one of the defensive tackles, just walking the sideline, taking his helmet off, doing the old tap out. They're getting a little bit fatigued at this point. And what that does is then they don't chase as much.
Second down. Dive play to the 35 and a timeout call by Vanderbilt. Run for Ahey again. Kingsley, the junior from Springfield, Missouri.
The timeout will be 30 seconds.
Let's go back down to our cadet reporter, talking a little bit more about the training for the cadets here. What's it like? And I know we talked about some different exercises, some harder than others, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the biggest things is during the summer of your rising yearling year, you're at cadet field training. And right here you see the slides for life. Actually, the football players last year, when I was a rising yearling, broke part of this wet confidence obstacle course, and they had to shut it down for the rest of the summer. So as you can see, we might be outweighed by 50 pounds on that offensive lineman, but we certainly have some big fellows on our team.
This looks...
That actually looks fun. That right there actually looks fun.
It's a great time, definitely.
Of course, I don't know if you noticed this, but he had his combat boots on. So I don't know how that is swimming with those.
3rd and 7. Steelman the keep. And he does not get the first down. Needed the 42-yard line. Got to the 39. So the clock ticking here. Vanderbilt does have 2 timeouts left. Caldwell on the tackle. And Rich Ellison may let some clock bleed here.
Let it bleed.
Before either taking a timeout or a delay of game. And I imagine he's going to want a timeout.
These are just those situations in the game between head coaches. You saw the last play, you know, Vanderbilt took a timeout to try and save some time, and now Army's going to let the thing run down to the very end to use some time. It's all about how much time you have with the ball in your hands, and if you don't have it, you can't score.
Timeout, Army.
So Army taking timeout.
Timeout.
Coach Ellison has 2 play stoppages remaining in this second half. Let's take a look at today's real-time fan poll brought to you by Tech Station. We talked about the most points being scored on Armed Forces Appreciation Day. So the update, wow, Navy 72%. They are taking on a winless Rice team that's on the road.
I look at that as not a lot of confidence in the Rice defense to slow them down.
No, Navy looking for win number 4 in the season. What they hope to, at least if you're a midshipman fan, is the 7th straight Commander-in-Chief's trophy. That means so much to Coach Ellison and the players we've met with. Winning that first game against Eastern Michigan was priority. Winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy was right behind that. And that includes being Navy.
They talk about a bowl game being a goal, but the Commander-in-Chief trophy being the ultimate. And you see the all-time record there for it.
Last Army win 96. Bulls punting for Army off the timeout. Washington lets it bounce and watches it go out of bounds. At the 20, that's where Vanderbilt takes over here. Commodores 2 timeouts remaining and almost 4 minutes of time. Company mascot, that frog. As we found out from our cadet reporter, Kim Cowan.
A plebe, of course.
Yes, definitely. Armed Forces Appreciation Day continuing on the CBS College Sports Network. As we talked about, Navy, Rice, TCU, Air Force. Interesting matchups coming up later today on our air. CBS College Sports Network, the pulse of college sports. Special guests as well. The Navy game, Joe Bellino, who won the 1960 Heisman Trophy. The Air Force game, Chad Hennings, Outland Trophy winner, and a former great for the Dallas Cowboys will be in the booth. Stacy, direct snap, hit hard outside the 20-yard line to the 22 on first down. And Rodriguez has his 8 tackles of the day. Tristan Strong, by the way, update on the Vandy player shaken up on special teams, knee injury in the locker room. Doubt we'll see him again today. Big drive of the season for Vanderbilt here. Again, it's pressure. It's McNary, and down goes Larry Smith. Josh McNary all over him. And a big sack.
They've been on the quarterback every time he's taken a 5 or 7 step drop. If they take the quick drop, they have a chance. I don't understand why they're trying to throw the ball deep down the field. You've got to move 80 yards. You don't need to get it in one play. You see the great pass rush by McNary, and more importantly, not allowing the quarterback to get loose.
Loss of 8. Disastrous play.
And the clock's running.
For Vandy, McNary climbing the all-time sack lead record. Again, he's hit as he throws. This time, Washington brings it in on a huge conversion for Vanderbilt out to the 35-yard line. Alex Washington and Smith connect for 20 yards.
And the pressure's coming again, this time from the left side. His blind side, he doesn't even see it. Does a great job. Composure, stay in the pocket, throw the football downfield. Victor Ugeni, whether he's up the middle or around the outside, he's going to create pressure and stuff it.
They have been Larry Smith's grill all day. And here they come again, McNary. Now it's Erzinger all over him, throwing downfield for Uma, and he can't bring it in. Udom Uma, intended receiver. Larry Smith again running for his life.
And just a good job. Whether he feels the pressure or not, he does not allow you to know it. He stands in the pocket, steps forward, throws a strike down the football field. What you need from your quarterback.
7th catch of the year on that play for Washington, first of the day. Limited much of last season due to a knee injury. Another one of the outstanding student athletes at Vanderbilt. 2nd and 10 here. Shotgun, Smith. Nearly intercepted and then dropped. Udom Uma, the intended receiver.
And the coaches talked about that. They said he was our speedster. Udom Uma is our speedster. He's our deep threat. He's our vertical guy, the guy we can get down the field. But his concentration in catching the ball, not sure what it is with the fastest guys. They're usually not the best catchers.
Catchable ball there for sure. Another 3rd down. Pressure. Vandy picks it up. Smith.
All day.
A lot of time. Now throws off the back foot. Deep downfield. Barton brings it in. What a catch. Brandon Barton. To the 34-yard line. Another miraculous 3rd down conversion for Vanderbilt. Gain of 31.
But a great job of keeping the play alive. Larry Smith does a good job, just buying time, buying time. The rest is just up to the receiver to make a play on the football, but he had to buy the time to get the ball downfield.
First catch of the day for the former Virginia Tech quarterback, a transfer to Vandy. Smith, a little shorter out this time. Barton again brings it in, barrels himself inside the 25-yard line, down to the 21.
Out of bounds.
Eric Hensley, the right guard, limps off for Vanderbilt. Kyle Fisher is listed behind him at right guard. He's in the game now. Army takes a timeout. Yet another close game where field goal kickers will, in all likelihood, determine the outcome. There's Ryan Fowler, the redshirt freshman from Taylor's, South Carolina, getting ready.
And these situations right here as a defense, it's funny. It's what the defensive line wants. They want a quarterback that they know is going to be in the pocket and have to throw the football. And then the secondary just wants to make sure those defensive linemen have enough energy to get to him every time. And you've seen early in this drive, they were able to get to him a little bit. Now all of a sudden, they're getting a little bit more tired as well. I mean, it's difficult to keep running and pressuring after the quarterback, because then when the ball gets thrown down the football field, you've also got to turn and chase. You can't just stand there and watch the play. So fatigue sets in.
Each team, Jason, in similar position. Coach Johnson told us this week what a big game this was for his team. 2-3. Army Independent plays at Temple next week. Vandy returns to the rough and rugged SEC. Georgia and South Carolina the next 2 weeks after this one. Good luck. First down. Smith rolls left and fires. Has a man open. Uma makes a move. Udom Uma. Knocked out of bounds by Travis at the 5-yard line. First and goal, Vanderbilt.
And you can tell a receiver's fast when he has a 7 to 8 yard cushion when he catches the football. That means the defensive back's well aware of his speed to get himself into the end zone.
Gain of 16.
First and goal for the 6.
Timeout call this time by Vanderbilt. So each team one play stoppage remaining here with 1 minute 2:44 to go, and another exciting game from Michie Stadium.
And now it's the gamesmanship. It's what does Vanderbilt want to do with the football? Do they want to try to score quickly? Do they want to, you know, play with this and see if they can run it in and chew up some clock so they don't allow Army a lot of time? You'll see the play selection will dictate what they're trying to do. If they're throwing the ball in the end zone, they're not too concerned with their defense being able to stop Army. If they start running the football in this situation, you realize they just want to wear that clock down first.
Coming in from Michie Stadium, beautiful day for college football, West Point, New York. Armed Forces Appreciation Day here on the CBS College Sports Network. Navy Rice, Air Force TCU to follow. Special guest in the booth, Joe Bellino, Navy game, former Heisman Trophy winner. Chad Hennings, former Outland Trophy winner in the Air Force broadcast. Smith is split out. Direct snap coming up here for Stacy on 1st and goal. They rush off the sideline after the timeout, trying to catch Army on its heels. Stacy hands off, and the play inside the 5-yard line. Warren Norman, the ball carrier, rattled down by Andrew Rodriguez.
Now you can see at this point in time, Vanderbilt's not too concerned with the clock. They're substituting. They have their little at the line of scrimmage huddle. They're not really worried. They have enough confidence. They believe they're going to get themselves into the end zone.
Stacy lined up to the right of Smith here. Minute 15 and counting. Larry Smith, quarterback draw, nailed. Anderson, the first man to him. Travis finishes him off. Timeout.
And the problem can be if you get too cute, all of a sudden you're looking at 3rd down and goal, and you've got to score a touchdown or have the possibility for going overtime. You see, they think that by spreading everybody out, the middle will be open right in here. Well, in here, it's not. Steven Anderson does a good job stepping up. And what you got to do as the defensive guy, you've got to realize when everything spreads out that it's uncomfortably open in the middle. That's got to be a feel thing. The quarterback draw is not a play that you can, you know, see by a lineman or offensive get-offs or whatever. You just got to feel that this is awkward how open the middle of the football field is. I might want to hang out here for a minute.
Third and goal. Shotgun for Larry Smith. Fade, end zone, Washington, touchdown Vanderbilt, but there is a flag down.
You can't rub. That was a pick. That wasn't even close. Not even. You got to be a good actor. If you're going to do that, you got to at least pretend like you're not blocking the other receiver.
It's going to go against Vandy.
Pass interference, offense, number 23. 15 yards, previous spot, still 3rd down.
I love the dejection on the Vanderbilt offense as if they didn't know exactly what was happening. The left corner, you're going to see Uma, he rubs off. He is trying to hit right there. What he wants to do is make sure there's a rub. His whole job is to ensure that there isn't a clean release. He's not trying to run a slant route.
That is a huge penalty.
Huge penalty.
The touchdown off the board. Larry Smith says, you got to be kidding me.
Well, because now you forget a chip shot field goal. Now you've got a long field goal if you don't get yourself into the end zone.
3rd and goal here. A minute left. Smith throws incomplete for Cole at the 10. So now the field goal, try to tie it. Aaron on coverage. Now comes Ryan Fowler.
That was the 2nd score today the Vandy's had taken back.
Try this from 36 yards out. He's 1 for 1 so far. Lots of movement. On the line, Vandy is sure it's against Army. Cadets disagree. That's on Vandy. This is terrible penalty again for them.
False start. Offense.
Which it
5
is.
yards. Still 4th down.
Making a tough job even more difficult for redshirt freshman Ryan Fowler. whose long in his career is 37. Now he's backed up to 41 yards out. This would be a career long if he makes it.
And talking to Alex Carlton, he said for the right-handed kicker, you don't want to be on the far right hash.
Right-footed? Yeah. Timeout. Similar circumstance to last week. Ross Thibodeau
little icing.
nailed a field goal late for Tulane. Damian Hunter had a 46-yard kickoff return for Rich Ellerson's Cadets, setting up Army to try to win the game, but Alex Carlton was wide on a 37-yarder with 12 seconds left. Now it's going to be Ryan Fowler trying to tie it, send us potentially in overtime. Would be a career-long field goal for him. Cadet Adams, what's going on down there? How's the feel with the Corps of Cadets?
Well, it's definitely loud. I don't think he can hear us.
He's too into the game right now.
He's watching. It's like,
All
oh,
right,
wait.
here we go.
Reporting or watching?
The penalty backs it up to a 41-yarder. No timeouts left for either side. Missed 2 last week against Ole Miss. On the way. He's got it. Got the crossbar and goes through.
You would have hated to see that extra 5 yards be the difference, though. You know, for the kicker.
Army 13.
We are tied. 13-13 with 51 ticks left. Take a look. Woo. Wow.
Game of inches.
It's the upright. My mistake, not the crossbar. Upright.
Game of inches.
And that is through. Now last week Alex Carlton had one of those for Army off the upright, off the upright hand.
And he was talking about that, being that right-footed kicker, you have to hook it. You got to make sure you don't want to leave it, you know, right of the crossbar, so you got to hook it.
He's got reason to smile. How about that for a freshman? All right, still 51 seconds left here in the fourth. Damian Hunter, remember, had that huge return last week against Tulane late to help spearhead a late drive. Almost resulted in Army winning. Back-to-back heart-stopping weeks here for the Cadets.
And he's had a few returns today, so you know the return team is set up. They know they've got somebody back there that can make something happen. Now, can he get the ball on the other side of the 50?
The wind blows the ball off the tee again. Breeze just under 20 miles an hour right now. It's really picked up.
Oh, it's gusting down there if you're a kicker.
We'll see if they kick it to Hunter. And it goes out of bounds. So they'll get it at the 40-yard line with 51 seconds remaining. That's a big break for Army. They have no timeouts. And could Alex Carlton be the huge hero today? We'll see.
You go from kicking a 41-yarder, tying the game up, everybody feeling good about your situation, to being the same guy putting it out of bounds. Your coaches go from smiles to frowns really quickly.
Only need about 30 yards or so.
It'll be interesting, though, because like you said, there's a lot of wind down there. So they're really going to, they're legitimately probably going to have to get this thing to the 20-yard line with as much wind as they've got down there.
Army not a passing team, as we know. Although they've thrown well today. On first down, Steelman does throw. Looks for Villanueva. Myron Lewis draped all over as much as you can be. A 6'10 wide receiver. It's incomplete.
And that's a good shot. If you're going to take a shot, take it to the sideline to where there's no room for error. If he catches it, great. If not, it's overthrown. It's out of bounds. Now you didn't strike on that. So what you want to do now with 46 seconds left on a team that's not exactly a vertical attacking team, just run the ball, get yourself to overtime. You don't have to have something happen with a punt and a punt return, all that stuff.
We'll see if Coach Ellerson agrees.
No, he doesn't.
He's passing to Hunter. Incomplete on a screen. Was that ever dangerous? Because Casey Hayward was looming close by on the tip ball. He comes up with that. Vandy wins this game because no one's going to stop Casey Hayward from scoring a touchdown on the pick six.
And we should have known better. We've talked to Rich Ellison, the head coach for the Army, a couple times about this, and their motto is, we're going to try to win every football game. Until it's over, we're going to try to win. One would think you'd go ahead and try to take a knee and just run the timeout, but he said, no, we're trying to win football games here.
So now it's third down. And a potential punt coming up. Steelman keeps the ball certainly in the middle of the field. Does not want to go anywhere near the sideline. Smotherman has his third tackle of the game for Vanderbilt. No timeouts left for either side.
And they won't have to snap the ball again.
So that should do it then for regulation. And for the first time this year, Vandy and Army will play an overtime game. Most relieved young man in the stadium is Ryan Fowler after kicking that kickoff out of bounds. Giving Army the ball
at the 40
after the game-tying field goal. Rattled through off the left upright. 60 minutes not enough to determine a winner today from West Point. Overtime coming your way next. A big game for each team, trying to go 3-3 in the season. And that's what will happen for the winner today at Mikey Stadium.
Start the 25-yard line. You can get first downs and keep it until you score. I like this one right here. I like that after the third attempt. Okay, we've done this 3 times now. You've scored. Now you got to go for 2. We can't be here all night. If you're going to keep scoring on each other, we're going to have to try to do something to make it a little bit more difficult.
Captains will meet at midfield here. Steve Anderson, Alejandro Villanueva, Victor Eugeni for the Black Knights. Senior co-captain, the safety Ryan Hamilton. You see him with the sling there. Injured and out for the year. One of the top tacklers in the SEC last year. And he's had some serious blows with injuries this season. Relying upon a lot of true freshmen. Try to return to bowl status this year and win 6. Hamilton calls heads.
You want to go on defense, which end of the field do you want to play on? You want to play on this end? Okay, your back's this way.
So as usual, Bobby Johnson, when the team that wins the coin toss, Jason, defend, that's the option. You'll see what the other team does offensively. A field goal and a TD wins it. Let's take a look at the Bud Light Stat 6-pack again. Through regulation.
Well, what kept Army in this football game today was the fact that in the second half, first of all, they came out and they got something going, but more importantly, they were able to run that triple option. Now, what's going to be really interesting here is you see this, we've talked about this a lot today, and the reason I talk about that is as a defensive guy, you begin to get gassed and tired, and you don't have the same legs you had to keep chasing and pursuing after the quarterback and the running backs. Those there. The other thing that's killed Vanderbilt today is those penalties. They've had a lot of penalties that's taken off scores, but the time of possession right now is what might be the determining factor if Vanderbilt doesn't have the legs on defense.
Second straight week then that the Service Academy has played overtime. And of course, Navy last week in Annapolis won by the midshipmen. Now it's Army against Vandy. So Vandy has the first possession here in OT. Stacy, direct snap, nice pickup, first down and more. This is inside the 15-yard line. Antoine Aaron, the boundary corner, made the stop. Gain of 12 for the Commodores.
And when they put that running back, you know, everybody does it now, this copycat of everything. And they see the success of it, and what it does is it changes everything for the defense as far as their fits. And they've had some success with that, so you wonder why they go away from it. And they're not.
It will be Stacy again. Smith, the quarterback, split out to the right. Back Stacy. Running left is rung up. Mike Gann, among others, in on the stop for Army. How about the momentum now? You talk about Army's situation, had the lead. The win out of their sails. How do you get back up for overtime?
Well, I believe it goes to neutral right now. Vanderbilt's got momentum on their side offensively. They know they can move the football, but they don't have confidence getting it into the end zone. Army knows we've been able to stop and keep them out of the end zone.
Warren Norman, cut back, 10-yard line, looks for daylight, spins away from traffic, lunging, lost the ball. He lost the ball. Was he over the goal line with possession is the question. First, he was about to score.
Ruling on the field. The runner fumbled the ball in the field of play, into the end zone and out of the end zone. The result of the play is a touchback.
Wow. I imagine this will be reviewed.
One would imagine.
Warren Norman,
this is close.
Heartbreaking play to fumble at the goal line.
This is close.
Rodriguez stripped it. What a play by Andrew Rodriguez. There's no doubt about it.
From that view, he lost it.
Before he crossed the plane, no doubt about it.
Great play by Rodriguez. I mean, oh, great play. That's hustle, because they'd missed 4 or 5 tackles before that point. But they just kept coming, keep coming. Go for the ball. You know, we talked about that with Chris Smealin and Payam Sadat, the defensive coordinators for Army, is one of the problems they've had is some of their guys go for the strip instead of the tackle, and they have to remind them, no. One guy hold him, the other guy strip it. That was just a great play. That was an all or nothing. You either stripped it or it was a touchdown.
Think of the phone call he'll have to his dad, Lieutenant General David Rodriguez over in Afghanistan now. Dad, guess what? Forced the fumble.
Got good news for you.
Vanderbilt has called timeout to challenge the ruling on the field.
Interesting challenge here.
You got to.
Yeah.
How could you not?
You get one challenge a game.
Out. Yeah, that's... Unfortunately, that's not really close. But if you're Vanderbilt, you've got no choice but to try.
Great looks from our crew. Pretty clear that Warren Norman lost it. Now, Vandy, only touchdown of the day, Jason, came on special teams thanks to Warren Norman. And beyond that, they've been kept out of the end zone, even in overtime here.
And when you look at this game,
it's confirmed.
When you look at this game, the inability to tackle Warren Norman has kept them in it.
So the challenge not upheld. Coach Johnson went for it. That means they lose the timeout in overtime. And really, it's a good one. At least to take. Got to try for it. So no timeouts in OT now remaining for Vanderbilt. Brown immediately stopped. Rung up by Tim Fugger, a sophomore from Oak Brook, Illinois.
Well, and the important point to note here is Vanderbilt picked going with the win. So if they have to line up kick a field goal now, they're with the win. It's not going to, that win's not going to be an issue. If anything, it's going to help.
Remember last week, Alex Carlton, 37-yarder with 12 seconds left, missed it against Tulane. Unforgettable image of how disappointed he was. Maybe he gets another chance here. Steelman is hit from behind by Trice and dropped right away.
You can see the conservativeness of Trent Steelman at this point in time.
And notice how they're going left. He likes, Alex Carlton said, the left hash to kick from.
But earlier in the game, he would have pitched that ball. Now you're in overtime. The last thing you want to do is not get the pitch sent and caught.
From the 26, 3rd and 11. Steelman will keep. And he's hit by Marv. Got to the 25. Here comes the field goal unit. Vandy cannot ice Carlton. after they lost the timeout due to the failed challenge. And what an opportunity for Alex Carlton. He's hit 2 today. From 42 yards out, this would win it for Army. Here's the kick. And there's a win! It hit the upright again! Army wins off the upright thanks to Alex Carlton. Wow! 16-13!
And the Cadets storm the field. They've bypassed the push-up for the sprinting. What a sight. 4,400 cadets making their way to the middle of the field.
Take a look. Hooking, upright and through. Can you believe it?
Well, it's only fair though, you know? Vanderbilt got one that way, Army gets one. A sea of white. There we go.
Imagine being Alex Carlton, wishing that to go through off the upright. He hit one last week that went through as well. And just an amazing sequence. Ryan Fowler nailed the upright. It went through for Vanderbilt. Same upright and same result means a win on Armed Forces Appreciation Day for the home team. Cadets 3-3.